great day to be a Tiger. JSU by 40 campaign. Coach Taylor, I was just thinking, I was sitting in my office and we were talking about Jackson State athletics, the tradition of Jackson State. You played here. What if 50,000 alums gave $40 a month for 12 months?
Man, that would be huge. That's money in the bank for athletic program.
Let's do this, Coach. I'm challenging all 50,000 alumni of Jackson State University, supporters, fans. Let's give $40 a month to JSU by 40 campaign. 12 months, 12 million. September to August, let's win championships in the classroom. Let's support Jackson State University. Let's support athletics. And let's make sure our coaches and our student athletes are successful. So again, Coach Taylor and I are challenging you, all 50,000 alums, $40 a month for 12 months to support Jackson State athletics. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Support the JSU by 40 campaign. Visit gojsutigers.com/JSU by 40.
What's up, everybody? Happy hump day. Happy Wednesday. What's up, brother?
What's up, Pippin? What's up, Be I Love family?
What's going on, man? Not a whole lot, man. Just it's a great Wednesday. Always a great day to be a Tiger. As we get started, man, I want to welcome a new member, Patrice. Welcome, silver member. Thank you for the channel membership. Welcome to the channel. We appreciate the support. And, man, as always, appreciate out to all the members of the channel. Every dollar comes into the channel, help support the channel to sustain itself, grow it, and do all the things that we look to do with this platform. I also want to shout out my sister, my big sister, the football girl, man. 12 months, bro. Man, she's been rocking with us for a whole 365. Sis, you know I got number love for you. Platinum member. I mean, she ride or die. She pull up on the live shows when we on site. She gonna be there, man. She'll even jump in this thing, talk a little football. She'll do all that good stuff, man.
KT Dub.
KT Dub, what's going on, man? TD up, sure he'll be up at some point. Yeah, and then and like we stated, we'll have Dr. Little on. We're excited about that. Definitely looking forward to sitting down. It's a special guest Wednesday, and tonight's guest obviously will be the director of bands, assistant professor of music, Dr. Roderick Little. Just ecstatic to have him on tonight. Been looking forward to this interview, man, as our week number 2 of our special guest cameo stop in. We'll try to keep him for about a good 30 minutes, try to get as much out of him as we can. We'll squeeze all the juice out, all the questions. Hopefully we can definitely get that rolling.
Nook.
But yeah, man, Nook, man, I know Nook wanted to be on. Nook got called in. But hey, bro, we got your questions though. We know it's near and dear to his heart. 833 in the house.
33rd, man.
Hey, it's all good, man. So definitely, looking forward to like I said, to speaking with Dr. Little and just talking about all the amazing things that's going on. The summa cum laude of bands. You got that right, Thetis. Man, listen, I'll just say this before we even get started. I won't even try to touch on any preliminaries though. But just, man, what a year the Boom has had. It's probably one of the most historic years I can think of to date in quite some time. I know, the historians like yourself maybe can go back to maybe the NAACP Image Award back in 1990. Maybe on that run. They had a really good run. The apex of excellence. I like that. Yeah, man. So, but no, I'll let you just get a little bit in here before Doc comes up, and we'll go from there.
Nah, man.
All the Boom members, by the way, man. I know this ain't Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club. Shout out to the Boom Chronicles and those that support Tiger Talk. But jump on in there, Doc.
Nah, man. I just it was a phenomenal year. I actually, told Doc that, at the Legacy Ball, I wanted to congratulate him on another successful year because the Boom was the blue blood, when we talk about HBCU in the band world as it is anyway. So every year they have a successful year, but this year in particular was a very special, monumental year when you talk about things that they've done and the momentum that they've garnered throughout the entirety of the year. We started on the bang and we ended it on the bang, and we culminated that thing with the Legacy Bowl, and that's literally after the Super Bowl. So I mean, the Super Bowl didn't even end it. You see what I'm saying? You follow the Super Bowl up with another event with the Legacy Bowl, and they still have some more things set up for this spring. So, but no, the Image Awards was actually like, I think 2004, 2005. You're talking about Motown in 1990, and they did the Image Award twice, Ken.
Okay.
But we have but to echo your point, man, not to get long-winded, it was a very, very special year, man, and it's actually going to be, leading to one of my questions. And look, and I'd be remiss, rest in peace to the great Jimmy James, because like all things JSU, when I think of the boom, we can quote him, right? The quintessence of the quintessence of contemporary sounds and maneuvers, right? You know what I'm saying? The apex of excellence. We can all hear his voice in our head. What's the boom without hearing Jimmy James? I personally, we talked about this. I wish we would play a recording of him coming into the game, you know what I'm saying? It was Jimmy James who came up with the nickname Go Boom, right? They'll be dancing, go boom, go boom. It was him that screwed that thing up. And you have all that tie lexicon. So, but you're right, man. Amazing year for the boom. What up, TD?
Good evening, gentlemen. How y'all doing, man?
You got it. First, off the rip, they already asking questions. He ain't up here yet. Actually, how they going to ULM? We don't know yet. We'll find out. We will find out. In just a little bit, man. We know Doc will be up at the 15-minute mark. Like I said, he got an early morning, man. So we're not gonna keep him all night. Got to be, tomorrow for the presidential bus tour up to Memphis. So definitely gonna steal a little bit of his time and try to go from there, man. We'll try to get as much out as we can. We got a host of questions. Golden Fish King. How's your day, bro?
You know what? That's your new name, bro.
Hey, look,
Golden
man.
Fish King.
We found some good golden fish down there. I was right there with him. We eating some good old golden fish down there in that boot, man.
Man,
woo!
I ain't thought about nothing else.
Tiger Nation, what's up?
We know Zoe want them sweet potato beignets. We know.
I ain't thought about nothing else but them damn beignets, dog.
We know.
And them things, look, man, I was so full, bro, that I was staring at that beignet. And I was just looking at y'all reaction, right? And I was like, I feel like I'm about to bust right now, but I gotta taste these things. So that's what wound up happening for me, man. So I got a little bit of that in. I'm gonna take this hat off, man.
Well, look, there's one thing I didn't tell you. Neither one of y'all. I went back Saturday.
Word.
Hey man.
You got the sweet potato.
Hey, I feel you, bro. Hey, it's all good, man. You like what you like, man. Them things were good though, man. I gotta tell it. Nook, man, you should have came on up here, bro. Nook ain't doing no work right now. He ain't doing no work, but nah, we he said I see why Zion.
We all said that.
Hey, man, get about Zion. Zion actually lost some weight, man. Shout out to him and his trainer, man. He did lose.
He moved out of city limits too.
Looking pretty good. Oh, he moved out of city limits. Well, it don't make no difference. You can go an hour away. You still gonna get that cuisine. You in Louisiana. You gotta cross the state line, bro.
Look. See.
Yeah. Said I'm in what do you say? I'm in a van. Oh, yeah. You can't do that in that van. Be packed in that thing like sardines, man, heading to their train, man. So, man, be safe out there. I know when work calls, it's all good, man. Like Dr. Little is War and Thunder too. But no, man, great show on Monday. Absolutely outstanding show on Monday. Again, want to thank Dr. Kenyatta Conville for coming up from inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Really joined the show with Brother C. Lee. We are going to pick up our conversation, man, about this bill that seems to have grown legs. I got a few things I do want to touch on in regards to that, because we're just going to talk about just social media it can be a bit annoying at times. So you kind of got to pick your battles, man, because people will use anything for engagement, for some clicks, for some likes,
and mislead too.
And it doesn't matter if it's true or not. It does not matter. Misleading topics are definitely it's definitely a thing. So but it is what it is. So we'll get into that in the second hour of the show, and then we'll go we'll go from there. So we'll hang tight until Doc joins us, and then we'll bring him up, and then we'll get rocking and rolling, man. And we'll go from there. So
hey, what's up, Tiger Nation? How y'all doing? Yeah, man, I had a good day. You know, I had to do a little traveling, so I was moving about.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was good, man. Zoe, I'm glad you like those people. Hey, in the back, the thing with that, man, I'm a sweet potato pie guy, man.
Me too. Ain't nothing like it, bro. Nothing like that sweet potato pie. I still don't. Why would anybody want to eat a pumpkin pie when they can eat sweet potato pie? But anyway,
Yeah.
But I digress.
TD, I want you to expound a little bit, because ain't nothing you finna say about sweet potato pie gonna do anything when we talk about those sweet potato beignets, pimping.
Same thing. It's built. It's essence of it.
Same thing, man.
Foundation of it. Foundation, because the beignets are good, man.
Right.
Beignets are good. It tastes like sweet bread with powdery sugar on them, right?
Facts.
You know? Yeah, man, appreciate it, 30 mate. We're gonna get into that too. Shout out to Austin and his team, man. Amazing. Got those interviews out. We'll touch on that in after we get done with our interview with Doc, but we'll definitely touch on that too. But no, man, it tastes like a sweet potato beignet. It really tastes just like what it was.
Bruh. They plated that thing on top of some caramel. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Telling y'all, man.
So you like it?
I went back Saturday, bro.
Ooh, did you get something to go?
Dream? Oh, without question.
Nah, I went back solely.
Yeah.
Look, I went back. Because Ken put me on the wings. I went back just for the wings and the beignets.
All right, here we go. It look like we got Doc. It look like he's trying to join. We'll get him added here to the screen here in just a second. All right, let's see. TD, also check your email, brother. I sent that. You can just accept it, and we'll go. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Doc, how you doing?
Hey, gentlemen, can you hear me?
Can hear you just fine, man. He's just fine. How you been?
I've been good, man. I'm actually trying to get my video rolling, but having some technical difficulties here.
It's all good. You take your time, man. Take your time. We appreciate you for joining us, of course. I went ahead and added you because I wasn't sure. I was like, well, maybe he'll be off camera tonight, but I figured you probably would. If you need to, you can always go out and come back in and try it that way.
Okay, yeah. Let me try to hop out and hop back in really quick.
No problem. All right, we'll give Doc a second to try to get up on the screen and get situated. Lakers Clippers are playing that right now. I ain't gonna look at that because boy, I'll be frustrated.
I was about to say so, but I
ain't touching it.
You do.
I'm not touching it because
I know you do. I'm about to say so because I'm watching it too.
Hey, kid, look at Miss B Green. That wasn't even a fair question, man.
B Green, what does B Green say? All right, Ken, how is your diet going?
We just left.
And you know what? Now that's being messy. That's being messy now.
I got a question for you. What diet?
Right.
We hung out with Raymond. Oh my goodness, for a weekend, brother Ray. Let me tell y'all something. Man. That was more like a try it, wasn't it, TD? We were trying everything. That's what that was. But I'm back.
Hey, I was gonna say before Doc come up, man. We didn't shout out brother Raymond on the last segment, man. So we have to
man.
give him.
By the way,
dude.
Hey, like I told you, me and brother Raymond, we took Toronto and Marcus behind the woodshed and spent a game of spades. We
saw the results. That's all I want you to know.
To annihilate them in 3 straight games. So I want y'all to understand something. You know, it's when it comes to the game of spades, man, make sure you know what you're doing.
I saw the score sheet.
He said we just need it's all over the kitchen. A little of this, a little of that. Oh, no. But no, it was a fun game, man. We had a good time. Marcus was scared to be in his hand. I could talk about him since he ain't up here to defend himself.
What? and then King to go there and he said,
no underbidding. See, this is what they call underbidding. When you only need 4 books to go out, why would I bid 7? So if I got 7, I don't have to do that. But anyway, Dr. Little's back. We're gonna wait on that. There you go. What's up, Doc? How you doing, man?
What's going on, Doc?
How y'all doing? Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, man, glad to have you. Appreciate you for joining us. Been looking forward to sitting down with you. Man, it's an honor to have you on, man. You're a hot commodity right now, man. I know your schedule has been super busy lately, man, with you guys' schedule.
Yeah, it's definitely been busy. That's definitely an understatement, but it's a blessing. It's not every day that, band directors in particular get to have a platform to speak the gospel of their students. And so, I don't take that lightly. I want to make sure that everybody understand the hard work that our students put in and day out, because, so often they don't think about that side of the program. They look at the sonic boom and they think about the entertainment aspect, which is very important. But however, I always want to make sure that everybody that watches the program understands that these are students, these are people that are trying to get their degrees. And so, I get to talk about how awesome our students are on a daily basis.
Outstanding. I'll tell you what, we'll start here. And I know we got you for a limited amount of time, and we'll jump right into it. What I always like to tell everyone whenever we're doing interviews, it's your interview. They hear us all the time. They don't really want to hear us talk much, but overshare, share whatever you feel is relevant. Yeah. But I want to jump right into this because I'm not sure if everybody, I know Cortez is, we listened to you on Super Talk. I know you had a chance to speak with Super Talk. I just watched another interview. I forgot which platform it was, but the group that some of the former band members are on the Boom sessions on Tiger Talk, and Cortez just joined them this week, and he kind of touched on that a little bit. So for those who haven't watched all of that, they still may have that question as to how we got to the point to where the Boom is getting ready to perform in the Super Bowl. I'd rather start there, since that was like the latest big thing outside of the Legacy Bowl. Talk to us a little bit about just kind of how we got there and how you felt about it and kind of what you went about to do when you shared it with the band members to let them know that's what was happening.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, to your point, it was Cortez Bryant. He has a relationship, of course, to the music industry. I think we all know that. And a good friend of his, Jesse Collins, reached out to him. And, he said, hey, do you know a band program, that would be reputable to be a part of the Super Bowl? And, of course, Tez being Tez, you're like, yeah, I know a marching band. There's no other marching band other than the Sonic Boom of the South. So he hit me up, and it was very passers-by, because, you got somebody working out in the industry, they see large opportunities all the time. He was like, hey, give me a call. They're like, hey, man, one of my guys just hit me, said that, he's looking for the marching band to do the performance with Usher. I said, what performance? He said, the Super Bowl. He said, are you interested? I like, of course. I didn't know any of the details, but I knew, it was a once in a lifetime, situation. And Ted's pedigree and his history with the program, he's always been truthful. He's always been a proponent for the program, even well before this. And so he's always been giving back in a lot of ways. And so, over that time, you learn to garner that trust with individuals. And so, of course, I believed him 100%. And he gave me some initial contact information to Akamon Jones, which is Usher's choreographer. And so I reached out to him, and, he said, yeah, we're looking forward to having your marching band as a part of the halftime show. And then he connected me with the production team. And then that's when we started to scaffold ideas and put them together in regards to what the show was going to look like. And the thing that I liked the most about it was they allowed us to inject the Sonic Boom of the South identity, its culture, and what we are, as HBCUs. And I watched a lot of Super Bowl halftime shows, and I hadn't seen one to where, you can really tell, like, right off, hey, that's Jackson State. And also we were featured throughout the entire show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, other Super Bowls, you may have had them for a segment, but we were there the beginning all the way to the end. If the students came out, on our infamous Tiger Run On, a lot of people didn't catch that because the camera didn't show it live. But, there are other videos rotating around YouTube, and you can find it, and you can see, the students coming out doing the chop step, as we affectionately called it. So, one of the most important things was to make sure that our students were taken care of. We were pretty leery about having them out for 10 days because, as I mentioned when I opened up, these are students. We want to make sure that they're doing everything they need to do in the classroom to graduate. But again, we also wanted them to have that opportunity. But once I worked with my administration to figure out how we were going to accommodate the students for 10 days, the next step was, what would they be doing? How would they be taken care of? And then that's when they told me the kids can get a $60 per diem for every day. So that means $60, a day, $600 in total. And so everything that they needed was taken care of. And when we got to Vegas, Ken, the students were treated like royalty,
Oh man.
And that's something that you can't buy. And the people were, they were awesome. They were good human beings. They treated the students with respect. And our students were just consummate professionals from beginning to the end. And so, it was just a good learning experience for our students. Not only do we need to cultivate them as, academicians, but we also need to cultivate them as young people, because they're going to go out into our society and, learn how to live with different citizens and all nationalities and backgrounds. And traveling to Vegas definitely helped them with that. And then, of course, everybody saw the conclusion of it. The students went out, they did a great job, they killed it. And we were able to represent not only Jackson State University, Ken, but, Jackson, Mississippi at large, and really all HBCUs. And that's what we do this for, make sure that we represent and be able to tell our story, because sometimes our story is a little bit jaded, from others.
Awesome. Zoe, you up next, brother.
Look, just to get on the actual band part of it, I wanted to ask you, because being a band director is similar in nature to being a head coach, whether it's like a football team or things of that nature. Since you've been the band director, I was curious to ask you, do you think the Sonic Boom, like most coaches, the team takes on the personality of the coach? Do you think the band has taken on your personality?
Yeah, I think so, Zoe. So, I'm a very laid back type of guy. But, the thing about me, Zoe, is when it's time to turn up and when it's time to handle business,
we see it.
It's lights out. I don't play when it comes to that, especially when you talk about representing Jackson State. That's the brand. So, whatever band is across the field from us, I tell the kids our goal is to knock their heads off. And after we get done, with that musical exchange, then we need to treat each other like human beings, because we're always going to be civil at the end of it. But, when we're in the stands, it's war, and so that's the type of mantra that I try to, add within the Sonic Boom of the South. Now, don't get me wrong, it's always been there. That's the mindset of all of my predecessors. But, I just have an opportunity to kind of inject my personality within the program, keeping a high level of discipline and professionalism throughout the program. But at the same time, when it's time to handle business, we're going to handle it. And we don't want to leave any questions or any doubts.
TD?
Yes. Good evening, Doc. Good to see you again, man. You look a lot younger on this closest screen.
I get that all the time, man. I can't tell a good thing or bad thing. I always take it as good, though, man, because, when you're in a profession like this one, being told that you look young, that's a good thing, because I definitely got some gray hairs up here. You probably can see it.
Hey, you got hair.
At least I got hair. Look, it's kind of fitted at the back, so, but it's all good. Y'all can't see the back.
Hey, man, I want to say, definitely as a JSU alum and a big football fan, we appreciate everything that you guys do for the sport, the activity you bring. You bring notoriety throughout the country, with the band and performance. Everybody here at the Sonic Boom of the South. My question to you is, this word genius is thrown around a lot when it comes down to different things, music and stuff. When did you realize your passion and your desire for music?
Thank you for that question, TD. My passion actually started at an early age. I would say I was probably around about 15. I attended Lanier High School. I'm from Jackson, homegrown. I never wanted to leave Jackson. My mother and I had a great relationship, so I never wanted to go anywhere other than Jackson State. And so I got my niche and love for music in high school. My high school band director, Dr. Fulton Caston, who's a graduate, from Jackson State. It was Jackson College at that time, because he marched in the 60s under William W. Davis. He gave me my first opportunity to grace the podium. I was a percussionist, sitting in the back, watching what they would do day in and day out. And he just called me up. I don't know why. Perhaps, of course, on this side now, I can kind of surmise why he did that, because we're always looking at all the students in the program. But he called me up and he said, look, I want you to warm up the band a little. And I said, yes, sir. And I went up there, and coincidentally, I did a good job. And it's because I would always be back there watching, all of the directors and see what they were doing, how they interacted with the band. And when I got on that podium, TD, I felt at home. I felt like that was God's timing of telling me, like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And so I was just blessed and lucky enough to find, my passion at a very early age. And, I've had a lot of mentors to help me cultivate that. When I got to Jackson State, my band director was Dr. Lewis Liddell. He imparted a lot in us in regards to tenacity, attitude, musicality. And then, I had an amazing opportunity to work under Dow Taylor, who served as director of bands, 3 times, so that speaks to his love to Jackson State University. And he's my mentor to this day. And so, you just have all those gentlemen to pour into me and help me, build my acumen and prowess as a banner. And I'm still learning. There's always things to learn. I'm always trying to climb that ladder to be better for my students, which ultimately makes a better program. But that all started at the age of 15, man. And I'm very grateful to have that opportunity.
Wow, that's awesome. Good deal. Appreciate it.
No problem, man.
Hi, I'm Dr. Little. I'm not gonna lie, I came on late. I'm Rochelle. I was like, who's that little kid they're talking to? I was like, I thought you was oh, that's Dr. Little. Okay, you know. Why you got the college guy here? That's supposed to be the Dr. Little.
That's funny.
One of the college students entertaining us before you came on. So forgive me, but you do look young. I just want to ask you, we got questions, but my main thing for you is that I'm a graduate of Jackson State from 1988. So yeah, I'm old school. But before you became the head, were you outside of Jackson State? Because I've been gone for a while. I just know there was ever got a new director, Dr. Little. Yeah. If you was not at Jackson State, I mean, to have this honor to do what you do, is it like a lifetime, or is something you wanted? And how did you, when you became the head one, how did that feel for you?
Well, I actually got to Jackson State as assistant band director in 2012, and so I had the autonomy to, with the term denotes, assist Mr. Dow Taylor on whatever he needed for me to do to cultivate his vision and what where he saw the sonic boom. And then in 2020, Rochelle, right when COVID hit, that's when he said, well, Rod, I'm getting ready to retire. And, hopefully you can take on the helm and move the band program forward. And of course I say, yes, sir. I'm ready to move everything forward, not knowing the journey that I was about to embark on. So to answer your question, Rochelle, this has been a blessing. Many people, not just band students, you talk about athletes, they want to come back and be coaches. They want to come back and be band directors for their institutions. And, man, I have an opportunity to do that. And that's why I don't take it lightly. It's a passion of mine. I mean, it's definitely a lot of hard work. I was telling Ken tonight, we have a presidential bus tour coming up in the morning. We're going to Memphis, and the call time for that is 4 a.m. And so these are the types of things, because we serve the total university. Now you're talking about the same band students, and we act as ambassadors for the full university. And so, we do presidential bus tours, we go and support Coach Reed and Coach Williams at the basketball games. Of course, we do the football games, and that's not even withstanding, all of the community events that we do. So our students are consistently on the go. And so that's all why I always want to speak to their praises. But in order to do that, Rochelle, you have to be, as you have to be passionate, about what you're doing. And I count my blessings every day, and I don't take it lightly.
Well, thank you so much for answering that question.
So, Doc, let's get into some of the meat and potatoes, man, of how you build your band. So for us, I consider myself a band head. I don't know how to play an instrument. It's okay. I always sit there and just watch it. I watch all the band clips, and me, I'm always trying not to get in the way of your media team, because I'm trying to capture y'all coming in the band. Yeah. But after this, though, from your perspective, I know you mentioned some legendary, I would say tall figures with Dr. Liddell and Dr. Dow Taylor, and now you have yourself, who I've seen you kind of grow. The boom has just it's on an ascension, in my opinion. Right. And this year, I think it's kind of like I hope it's not climactic, because I don't want it to come down. I just wanted to keep climbing. Right. But I did want to get a little bit of your perspective on what goes into recruiting a band member. I know we have a ton of Boom alums, and just if you don't mind, more specifically, what goes into some of the attributes you're looking for when you're recruiting members to be, whether it be in a certain section, but to join the Boom?
That's a good question, Ken. Again, when people typically see the Sonic Boom, they don't think about like a lot of things that make it work. And recruitment is a very major piece. Just like how Coach, TC is going out and he's recruiting right now. We're doing the exact same thing for band. In order to keep the high standards and expectations, and like you said, what we did this year, in order to keep that going, we have to make sure that we recruit students that are, applicable and willing and have the know-how to keep that said thing going. And so we look for, number one, character. You can't be in the Sonic Boom of the South, at least not under my leadership, under our leadership as a band staff, and you don't have high character. If you can't take constructive criticism, if you can't be teachable, if you can't be moldable, if you're not being responsible, it's just not going to work out for you. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That just simply means that our methodologies, they don't align with each other. So character is number one. And then, number two, of course, is going to be musicianship. Are you able to play the instrument? Because doing what our students do on a day in and day out basis, you got to be able to play. And that started all the way back with William W. Davis back in 1948. He was an outstanding trumpeter. And, anybody that has ever talked about William W. Davis when he started the band program, they would always say, like, if you couldn't play, they affectionately called him Prof. Prof would just kick you out of the band hall. And so, what I do, man, I just pull from everything. Like you mentioned, that all of the giants put in place. And, I cultivate that. And that's what I look for when we look for students. And not to mention Harold Holden. Harold Holden was instrumental in implementing the floating JSU, the Tiger Run On, the band pageantry, the drills. He implemented that in the Sonic Boom of the South. So I just pull from what all of those gentlemen has placed in the program. And then, I put my own spin on it along with, my staff feedback. And, I definitely want to make sure I give them a shout out and kudos to my staff, because I don't do everything alone. And that's how we start to cultivate and identify the students that are going to come and be a part of the Sonic Boom of the South.
Awesome stuff.
I will look. I actually, to echo Ken's question, I actually want to give a statement first, because I don't think most people really recognize that you and you alone, you actually lead the one thing that's associated with Jackson State. I'm 45 years old. Rochelle is a little older than I am. But you lead the one thing that I don't care if it's football, basketball, baseball, any sport, any athletic program, any sport, any academic arena, you lead the one thing that every single child, when they see it, wants to be a part of.
Yes.
Because every single kid, and I'm 45 years old, I just say, look, I came home and try to do J5 routines, and every girl want to be a J6. I don't even care if you want to play football or if you want to play basketball. Right. Every single kid wants to be a part of the Boom. It's infectious. And I wanted to say that because it's going to lead to my question with segues from Ken, and that is because we had such a strong season this year, with all the momentum that the Boom has. And I got to say this because other bands have done great things and well-deservedly so. But I can go on record and say nobody's had their band do 3 things in one day.
That's true. That's a lot.
I mean, and then you followed it up literally 2 weeks later, and you're on the biggest watched, most televised event known to man. Yeah. And so that's what I mean when I say momentum. This is new breaking ground, right? And no band and no program has ever done that. So with the momentum that we have, I really want to know from you, what new heights do you think this band can elevate to?
Well, you know what, Zoe, for me, man, I want to have the best band in the nation, like not just in the HBCU space, but in the nation. And so, in order to achieve that lofty goal, we just have to continue to do what we've been doing. And really consistency is the key. Making sure that we map out the plan, we stick to the plan, and we make sure that we stay consistent to who we are as Jackson State University, and just make sure that we work that plan to the best of our ability. And when the opportunities present themselves, make sure that we're ready. You know, because for instance, when I told you about the Super Bowl, it wasn't a situation where I was like, you know, I think, or maybe, you know, it was like, yeah, we're ready, because, you know, that's what we breed, you know, in the sonic boom of the South. You know, we breed, you know, making sure that we're ready when the opportunity presents itself. So in order to make it to the next level, though, we just got to continue to work the plan. As I mentioned to you, you know, we've had decades of excellence within the program. And so we just got to make sure that we stay consistent with that as we're approached with all of these different opportunities to get our program to newer heights and to be shown on all of these different national platforms.
Sweet.
All right, Doc. Going back to Dr. Liddell, I'd be remiss if I didn't say I'm originally from Canton, and you know,
Jesse Primer.
Yes, exactly. And I'm not sure if you, I'm not sure if you know, but Dr. Liddell had a lot of family members who live in Canton, who also William Liddell, Stacy Liddell. They also lived in Canton. And of course, you know, at that time, Canton was known as the baby boom of the South.
Right.
Huge band at the time.
Yeah.
And this question, you know, right here also kind of culminates on to what one of the questions Marcus wanted to ask about band members and recruiting. You know, the band's not as powerful and as not as large as they used to be. You know, I always wondered, you know, far as offering scholarship and giving, you know, choosing different instruments and different sections, you know, different people from the band. How do you just really dub into exactly who you picking from there? Because I know my class had so many people to get scholarships in band to what it literally took the whole band away. And I don't think the band ever really recovered, you know, after then. So how do you know exactly who to offer scholarships to, you know, per se, and what can be done to get kids more interested in joining the band, marching bands, you know, again?
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that question, TD. So in regards to what we look for from the standpoint of instrumentation, it's like how, you know, coaches go out, they look at what they need, right? You know, you need a quarterback, you need a running back, you need a DB, right? So we go out and we say, okay, you know, this section may not be what we wanted to be this year. So we're going to go out and you know, specifically recruit for that said section. And so that's typically how we do that, to make sure that we keep the band balanced. And in regards to the size of the band, you know, our band is wildly popular. You know, recruitment is going very well for us. On average, we have probably about 300 and close to 400 students that audition for the band. We started this round 2 aspect to our recruitment regime, and we have a little over 100 students, probably about close to 150 students to come down just to be a part of the round 2 audition. So when we carve out how many freshmen we're going to bring into the program. And so our band program is super popular at the particular moment. And a lot of students are definitely looking into joining, not just because of what we do as a program, but also our social media is bananas. Like, you know, our social media is second to none. And so that's the marketing and media arm behind the program, because, you know, we run the program like a business. It's a brand. And, you know, and so a part of that, we have to make sure that that arm is where it needs to be as well. And so TD, to answer your question, the program, you know, it has always been popular. I would like to say we're definitely very popular now. And sometimes we have to turn students away. And the reason why we just don't have like a super huge band is because of budget constraints. It costs a lot of money to travel the band. Every time you're looking at the band, you're looking at over $1 million. You're looking at the uniforms. You're looking at the buses, you're looking at the meals, you're looking at the instruments, you're looking at the lodging. And so, you know, that's nothing to take lightly. And so we can't have a super huge band and we're not able to sustain it financially, if that makes sense. And coupled with that is space. You know, our band hall, it was built back in the 1970s for 128 pieces, maybe even less than that. And right now we boast to, you know, anywhere between 275 and 300 students in the program. And they're literally sitting in the band hall, shoulder to shoulder. And so, it's not that we can increase the size of the program. It's simply because we don't have the infrastructure and space just yet, and the budget is just not in place to maintain such a large group.
Well, what would be an ideal size that you would like to plateau on or get to?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. Really, to be honest, we're all about quality over quantity, right? If we can get that, well, not if, when we get
Come
that.
on, speak it.
That's what we really focus on. A lot of people, they look at numbers, and numbers is fine, because the layman that doesn't really know anything about music, they're sitting back there counting the tubas. How many bells we got back there? So that kind of dictates how good the band is going to be. But we focus on like that sound, that showmanship, that pageantry. And so we've had one of the largest bands in history back in 2014, 2015, were some of the largest bands in history. And man, it was a task trying to maintain that band, from the standpoint of infrastructure, budget, space, and just overall the staffing, we're trying to maintain that group. And so I would much prefer lean and throwing jabs rather than big and kind of sloppy and not all that refined. So I definitely would not want to go over 300, 325 is a bit of a stretch.
Okay, Dr. Little, I'm so mad our time almost up with you. You may have to love on us and let us keep you just a little bit longer. But I wanted to ask you a question. First of all, my daughter, got to give a shout out to my baby sister. She goes to Jim Hill. She actually went to Jim Hill because she said, sister, I'm going to get to be a Sonic Boomer. So she loved y'all to the ninth level. But my question to you also is that I am praying for you that y'all social media is everything, and I hope it monetizes even more. I think you're getting a lot more followers now because of the Super Bowl, and now you guys are doing the Roll Bowl. So I'm praying that your social media begin to make even more money for you guys, because that is definitely, you can make some money on the followers that you have. So I'll definitely be hoping for that. But my question to you is that what do you think is the cause, of which I probably know, is a decline in high schools and marching bands in inner cities?
That's a very great question, and particularly for the city of Jackson. And, simply put, I mean, as you guys, probably know, I'm pretty sure that you do, that the academics of the schools here, particularly in Jackson, Mississippi, over the past couple of decades, that they've dwindled, they've declined substantially. And so, you're talking about schools that were once A and B schools to now, struggling C and D schools. So quite naturally, and we see it all the time, the first thing that administrators and superintendents and the powers that be, not necessarily our superintendent, because now the superintendent of schools at Jackson Public Schools is an advocate for the arts. But the first thing that they'll cut is, unfortunately, the arts, because they don't understand the ramifications and all of the great things that the arts can bring to a student, holistically. And so with that being said, when they cut those budgets, like, again, I just told you guys, every time you see the Sonic Boom of the South, you're looking at, over $1 million. The same thing can be said for a high school, maybe not as much, but, if you cut a high school, down by $1,000, they stand a very minimal chance of being able to operate. And so, with that, you lose interest from students, and, you're already losing students to the streets. I'm just speaking honest, because I come from yes. And if it wasn't for band, there's no telling what I'll be doing at this particular moment. Like, band kept me active in the schools, so, students have to contend with, the streets. They have to contend with, playing a sport. And they also have to contend, do I have the resources available to me so I can be successful? And, quite naturally, they don't see bands being successful as they should be in Jackson. And now they're actually starting to be a phoenix rising from the ashes, because they have made substantial growth within Jackson. I'm very happy to see that. And that's because of the work by, partially because of the work, but actually mostly because of the work of a gentleman named Chris Little, who just passed about a month ago. We actually have his daughter in our band. And that man worked tirelessly to reinvigorate the arts in Jackson Public Schools. So the reason why we see that decline, Rochelle, in these inner cities is because, like, hey, administrators, they see that's the first thing we need to cut. Band is not a commodity. Instead of having band class, they need to be pulled out for, all of the core subjects. And I get it, but at the same time, it's going to take away, the arts from that said student. So that's why we find ourselves in this predicament. But I'm very happy to say in Jackson Public Schools, I do see a turnaround.
Well, Doc, we let everybody got like one more question, and we'll close out here in just a second. I know I'm gonna skip to me. I'm gonna go last for my question because I want to address one thing. And then Zoe, go ahead. I'll let you go in there, TD.
All right, I'll make this quick. Look, the Boom has a very amazing, well-diverse book. The question I really want to ask you is, does the staff ever really take song selections or song suggestions, I should say, from people?
So, my God, man, when I tell you that's one of the toughest things that we have to deal with, because everybody has the best playlist, everybody. And so, man, we receive so many requests from, all of our alum and, friends, family members, wives, and, and whoever. And, they all have recommendations, for us to play, whatever tunes. And we try to take that as best as we can, and particularly our chief arranger, Mr. Kevin Johnson, who's a beast with the pen, by the way, inimitable arranger. And so, he's really tasked with trying to figure out, what we're going to play. Of course, we collaborate together in regards to taking a look at all of the lists that we have, and we compile them together. We just try to figure out what's going to please our constituents. And so how we try to do that is in the stands, we try to play more so towards the younger crowd in the stands, because, that's who we recruit, right? We don't recruit, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of age individuals in the program. We're recruiting, those teenagers. And so we have to make sure that we keep an ear to the streets when it comes to that in the stands. And then on the field, we make it, we try to make it so to where we can connect to everybody that's in the stands. And so that's more so of our older crowd, like season ticket holders and, things of that nature. And so that's how we kind of marry both of those worlds to get together. And so we do try to take recommendations from a lot of people, try to put that in the melting pot, and we just kind of close our eyes and pull some things out and think what our crowd would enjoy. And that's how we come up with a playlist. But it's tough, man. It is tough. Like, why y'all, if we please one side, the other side, well, why y'all didn't play this? And so we just try to get it the next time.
Well, look, while I have you here, I do have a suggestion, but it's actually a Boom standard. So my thing is, I always wanted to hear, because it always go back to my childhood. In the 80s, when Jackson was doing everything, they used to always, it was a band tune for the band. I don't know the name of it, but it was the song that they would play when the band would chant the Sunny, 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 boom.
Right.
We played on the field, I think, once this year at halftime, but they used to play it in the stands all the time.
Yeah, it's a tuba break underneath that. The kids and students typically call it halftime, and sometimes we try to play that. And so, we brought that back in the stands. Go Mighty Tigers was something, that our crowd typically likes to hear as well. So, we just try to keep an eye out for some of those things and kind of put it in a rotation, like every 4 years. We at least like to say that, by the time our students leave Jackson State, they would have, played some of these standards, over the years that we all know and love.
That's what's up.
TD?
Yes. First of all, Doc, let me say, because it's probably I really have enjoyed speaking with you. Much respect, gang. Like I said, I mean, we never spoken until I saw you at the Legacy Bowl. Great interview. Much respect, sir. I have multiple questions, but I'm gonna go ahead with this one. I know you said a lot of, you have a lot of band members traveling with you. So are there, for lack of a better term, do you have like chaperones to, to try to help with all the band members? And also, one last question, if you can answer it, how much goes into getting the band ready to interact with the football game as the game goes along during the season?
Right. Yeah. So to answer your question, TD, well, first and foremost, I just want to thank you guys for everything that you're doing for Jackson State University. We have, a lot of people that, they talk a good game, but they don't put their effort and their love. I didn't say anything about money. I just said effort and love into what they do. And you guys' passion, it exudes, over, the highways and byways of the internet. And, we appreciate everything that you guys do. at large for the university. So it's a pleasure for me to be on. But in regards to chaperoning the students, we have a staff at Jackson State. We're short staffed now, but I'm actually going to be hiring this semester. But it's myself, Mr. Kevin Johnson, my associate director of bands. We have our director of plants and J-Sets, Miss Chloe Crowley. We have Mrs. Courtney Lett, my administrative assistant, and my marching percussion instructor, Mr. Calvin Berry. And so we all just work together and we monitor the students, but we have student leadership within the program. That's important. We have section leaders, we have drum majors, we have KK Psi, we have Tau Beta Sigma. And so all of those arms, within the program, they help us, monitor student conduct and things of that nature. And so we have a lot of eyes on our students. And, just ultimately, man, we're just blessed to have good students in the program. That's not to say that they're not students now. They make mistakes, and it's our job to correct them when they make those sad mistakes. But, because of the staff that we have, we're able to watch all of our students. And the second part of your question is man, athletics and band, we go hand in hand. AD Ashley and I mean, that's my boy, that's my brother. We have an outstanding relationship. Coach TC Taylor and I, we have an outstanding relationship. He has allowed us to use that nice turf field, and so whatever we need, they interact with us and they allow us to be who we need to be by way of utilizing their resources as athletics. And we do the same thing. So, again, the football team and the band, we all coexist together to make sure that we're representing Jackson State University to the highest of the echelon that we possibly can.
Rochelle?
Okay, I'm telling you, the chat is acting up. They got some questions for you, but we know we can't bombard you with all, but they're like, can we do this? What's this? But let me tell you, first of all, what happened, I actually cried when I saw our kids at the Super Bowl for the simple reason this is a memory that they can cherish with their kids and their grandkids, and this is all over this. I said, this is something that no one can ever take for them. So for that, I'm so appreciative. Howsoever, okay, I love you, Mr. Little. But when I came to our first home game, and I'm in California, so don't worry, I didn't talk to Mr. Robertson. I talked to the acting president at this time.
Mm-hmm.
We were all over the place. Like, can we get some correlation between the band and the team and the game and the chili? It was, you know what, for me, and I hadn't been home in a while, and I was like, it was so busy, like it was no unity, if that makes sense what I'm saying. Like the band was doing one thing, and like why we ain't doing the defense, like we ain't doing defense, the band was quiet, and I'm screaming, can't y'all do something? I mean, I was just losing my whole natural mind. And I was like, what the hell going on? What we doing over here? It was all over the place. And so that game, I saw AD, I saw the acting president. I couldn't get to you because I didn't know you, but I got you on this platform. Is it any kind of way? Because this is what I know. Y'all set the stage. Whatever y'all do, we following. So when y'all, the drummer, dun, deep, we gonna follow y'all lead. It's just like, and we, for some reason, we are people of beat, if that makes sense. So it's like everybody was trying to do their own thing. And they was like, they were over there, we were over there, and the band was, I said, what are we doing? It was like, it should be a good experience. Like, almost like a rehearsal. So I'm just praying this year, we need y'all on the defense. Like the defense, we need to be loud. I was just confused and discombobulated, but I love y'all. I love my school. But I just want us to do better.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. There's always things that, we can improve on. As I mentioned, there's always room for growth. But let me say this. I think it's something that our fans typically don't understand. So, if you guys can recall, obviously, kind of based upon what some of you guys have shared, like when you attended Jackson State, back in the 90s and 80s, we didn't have shackles on us. And what I mean by shackles is that we have tons, a litany of swag rules in regards to you can't play here, you can't do this. And when we try to get out there and play, Rochelle, then the refs comes out on the thing and says, all right, band, you better stop playing, and we get fined $10,000. And so our fans, $10,000, and our fans, they really don't understand that, and quite naturally, I understand why, because they hadn't been enlightened on that particular fact. But not just our band, but all bands across the SWAC, we're dealing with that. And when we meet as SWAC band directors, we talk about that because we understand that our fans, they want to hear us play more. They want us to see us, more active in the game. And rightfully, some things that we can improve on without having those parameters, even with those parameters in place by the SWAC. Really, the majority of that, Rochelle, is because, we have all of these stringent SWAC rules that we have to follow. I mean, if you ever watched me at the beginning of the games, the referee, they sought out the band director, and they go over rules saying like, hey, don't do this, and don't do that. And, it's just very confusing to us because, we're trying to support the team. We're trying to be the next man out on the field, and we're trying to make sure that we are proponents of our alumni and constituents. And a lot of times, Rochelle, our hands are tied. But again, I don't want to make an excuse and say that we do everything perfect, because we don't. And to your point, the first game is really that. It's an opportunity for us to get our kinks out. The students, are still kind of learning themselves, and it's our first outing. But, we do plan on doing a better job holistically when it comes to making sure that we all coincide together to act as one JSU family. But I really want to make sure that everybody understands this on the call that's listening, that, most of the things in regards to the band being quiet at certain times, not being able to play, it's because we have all of those stipulations and rules put in place that has been set by the SWAC.
Well, I thank you, because I was the 80s and we were wild back then. You're right.
Let me jump in here now. Because I've been ranting and raving on this platform for quite some time, Dr. Little, and I'm not gonna hold back tonight because we got over 500 paying attention right now.
Okay.
I just want one thing, and you just made my point even better, because you just said you guys are shackled. We got rules. We got this. I just want them to leave y'all alone when y'all setting the tone for the beginning of the game. I want the zero quarter to be unimpeded. I understand we got advertising. I just need game day operations to get out y'all way, because I feel like Boom is a superstar. And trust me when I tell you, I didn't think that we played very well at home this past season. I felt like the energy was flat because I felt like we kept sucking the life out of the stadium. And energy is real. That's just my opinion. Don't like me, it don't matter. I stand on it. I've been saying it since the beginning. I don't want to shut the Boom up, because people do come to see the Boom. There's a lot of people that come, they leave out the halftime. It is what it is. I know I'm a football fit, whatever. But my point is that moment, like Zoe talked about his childhood. That's why I record you guys coming in and going up in the stands, and then that zero quarter. And it's that we came to play. When that team come to the tunnel, every time on Tiger Talk, we sit down and we talk to players about coming and playing in the vet. That's the moment that they live for. The moment where they park that tunnel and they see them pom-poms rocking and they hear that boom. And I don't want no field goal.
Right.
I don't hear no advertising in that moment. Just let that moment up until the coin toss in the first. We can get back to the advertisement after that. I just want them to leave y'all alone. All right. That's not a question. That was just a statement. Now, I do want to close with this, because I did get this in the mail. I got it. We want to talk about this, man. The road to the roses. I want to know just how you guys felt about this. And I'm gonna, when you get done, man, we're gonna make a pledge from this channel to the Boom, man, in support of your monetary fundraising efforts to get to the Boom, because like as I told you, you guys are going to be performing literally 40 minutes from my home. So I live literally right up the street from where you're going to be. But let's talk about the Rose Bowl parade in Pasadena, California, January the 1st, 2025. When you got the call, kind of your thoughts that was going into it. This is an amazing fundraising package. I think when doing fundraising, we've done some of that on the platform. Just great communication, good follow-up, updates, transparency. Those are the types of things that help. And I just wanted to commend you guys on this and just kind of let you speak to this opportunity to come to Pasadena and perform at the Rose Bowl parade.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ken. So to your point, we are going to Pasadena, California. I was, very elated to get the call, because when I got the job back in 2020, one of my strategic plans, and still, is a part of my strategic plan, is to catapult our program on the national stage, right? We all on the call, we know the relevance of the Sonic Boom of the South. We understand what it means to our campus community. We understand what it means to Jackson. We understand what it means to Mississippi. But I want the whole world to know what the sonic boom of the South means to the nation and to the world. And so a part of doing that, you have to get the band program out on the national stage. And this is the opportunity to do that. You know, here you have some of the best bands in the nation on New Year's Day, you know, marching within the parade, and the sonic boom of the South. We have the opportunity to say that we can be a part of that. You know, this is the first time that we would partake in this particular parade. And I'm so excited to give the students that experience. Again, everything that I do is not about me. You know, for instance, you know, a lot of you guys on the call said, Dr. Little, I hadn't talked to you prior to this. And, you know, a lot of times it's by design because, you know, I want you guys to see the students. It's not, I'm just a conduit, you know, to make sure that I pour everything that I can to make sure that the students and the program and the university shines. And if I get accolades to that, then so be it. If not, that's fine as well. But, you know, we get to provide this opportunity for our students, you know, to go to Pasadena, California, get to visit Los Angeles. I had an opportunity to do that. We did a preview trip. I took my wife and my kids to the preview trip, and it was a life-changing experience. And, you know, I want to be able to Rochelle's point, you know, the students had an opportunity to go to Vegas, you know, and they got an opportunity to play for the Super Bowl. Like you can't recreate those memories. And so we want to consistently provide those memories for our students because they work so very hard for the university. That's an understatement. And so we want to make sure that we show our gratitude to them by providing these said opportunities. So it's a hefty price tag. It's going to cost $850,000 to get them there. Really, you know, it's going to cost more if we want to improve their experience. And so we need all hands on deck, Zoe. We need all hands on deck, Ken. We need all hands on deck, Rochelle. And I know you guys have done an outstanding job with providing a platform, and TDU as well, with, you know, letting our alum know what we need and in order to raise these funds. So anybody that want to patronize and support this effort, you may have received that booklet via mail, but you can visit the website, www.jsums.edu.
I'll drop the link in the chat, please. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah. Anything that you can give will help to get our students out to Pasadena, California. They will enjoy it. You know, not only will they go there and partake in the parade, you know, they'll get to go to Disney World. They'll get Disneyland. They'll get to go to Universal Studios. They'll get to see the Hollywood sign and so many things that they wouldn't have an opportunity to do otherwise. So again, anything you guys can do to give and support, please, you know, do so we can provide that opportunity for our students that work hard for you, to act as ambassadors of goodwill for you.
Well, Doc, that's outstanding. I'm just, you know, it's a blessing, man, to have you on it. We're excited. We're proud. The list goes on and on and on. But I'll say this right here. I'll just say what we'll do, you know, on behalf of KC-1400 Media Group. We're gonna pledge a Tiger sponsorship tonight, actually, in the amount of $2,500 to the Sonic Boom of the South, man. So we now for those that are watching, y'all know how we get down over here now. If you want to jump that thing up to 10,000, you know, let's rock and roll, baby. Now, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to stand in the way. We never like to stand in the way in front of the university. You guys already have a platform, or you already have a link. It's already out there. So you don't have to come through us to do that. But if you want to, fine, by all means, click the link, donate. I don't care if it's $1, $10, $5. Every single dollar helps. The Sonic Boom needs $1 million to get, you know, between now and you know, I would say way before the January the 1st, because by January 1st they performing, so it's going to be prior to that. So let's just say by December. I don't know, Doc, who has already donated. I don't know. I hadn't even looked. It doesn't even matter. But I did want to pledge that, you know, on behalf of the platform. That's just coming from this channel and being able to support in any way that we can. So I'm excited about that. Plan to be there. You know, I know you got your own media team, so we might, if you see us out here on the West Coast, man, pull us on in there. We're trying to get in there and see what's happening there.
Yeah, no, man, it's all love. We definitely have a media team, but, you know, again, it's all Jackson State love. You know, Austin has been doing an outstanding job with football. You know, he actually was at the Band of the Year event. So we're all in this thing together. and we're going to grow the brand together. But I would be remiss though, Ken, before I got off, if I didn't recognize our president, President Thompson, and also our acting president at the time, Dr. Elaine Hayes Anthony. She was supportive of this mandate as well, and President Thompson has been outstanding support for the band program. He's been present for the band program as well, and also our provost, our dean of the College of Liberal Arts, Dr. Rico Chapman, our department chair, Dr. Lisa Begley-Roberts. She's a real one. And so everybody that has been a proponent of our band program to support our endeavors, I just would like to thank those individuals publicly, because without them, we could not get this done. And that booklet that you have in your hand, Ken, that was done all by our communications team, Tangela Kelly, this. Yeah, Rachel, James, Terry, all of those great people. Brandon, alum of the Sonic Boom of the South, he did the graphics on that. So again, if I miss somebody, please charge it to my head and not my heart. So this was a collaborative effort to get our students to Pasadena and to get that together, that beautiful piece together that he had in his hand.
And look, I'd be remiss to let everybody who's watching this know that when we say about the Boom going to Pasadena for the Tournament of Roses parade, they're not just going for the parade. There are other events that they will do that the media team will showcase, and have for us. So there's going to be a lot of things for us to tune into, and actually again grow the brand. But there's a lot. I don't know the time frame because Doc hadn't even mentioned it, but I'm assuming they'll probably be out there for almost a week. And so, there's a lot of different events that they're going to do, even performance-wise. I know you guys, if I'm not mistaken, going to have at one point in time to do a field show at one event, right?
Correct. Yep. It's called Band Fest, and that's when the bands have an opportunity to go and to your point, Zola, and go out and do a field show. So, again, we plan on going down there and bringing that Jackson State energy, baby. I mean, everywhere we go, we're gonna bring it, and we know it's like none other, and we're gonna be able to share that with the folks over there in California on the West Coast.
Hey, listen, I don't know what the team and the crew is doing for the New Year's, but look, y'all got to come on to the West Coast, baby. We got the Boom going to be out here beforehand. Look, I'll host it. I'm talking about the team now. I ain't talking about it. I'm talking about the team on the screen. KT Dub.
I'm going to be there.
Bruce Rochelle, Nook, we here. So as soon as y'all want to come, it's all good. But hey, Doc, look, there's a lot of questions that we could have asked. I know your time is everything. We can do this again. I know you've been busy. We'll let you get back. I know you got to get up early, man. So we're not gonna keep you too much longer.
Can I just say one thing, Ken? What I just realized, $1 million sound a lot, but I'm going to pledge tonight $500 because if 2,000 people pledge $500, that's $1 million. Or you want to just break? So as I sat here, and I do believe we united together, we can do anything. So when I just looked at that, I said, I know we have 2,000 alums that can hit $500. That's $1 million right there. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I got 500 on it.
I think the Boom gonna have more. So I just blow it. Surplus, the more the merrier, man. I love it, man. Doc, thank you for coming on tonight. Make sure you keep up the great work. Outstanding, man. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Hey, Ken, let me one thing.
Close it out. You close it out. Go ahead.
Hey, Doc. Is there a band paraphernalia or hoodies or shirts or anything that people, kids, schools, anyone can buy that can also help out with the cause? I mean, can you buy a band paraphernalia from anywhere?
Yeah, that's a good question, TD. We actually have a Sonic Boom store. It's really a best kept secret, but to be honest, we need to update the marks and graphics on that store. That's why a lot of people don't patronize it because, the looks are just not where we wanted to be at this particular time. It's contracted through eFollet. That's the campus, bookstore, and that's an affinity group connected directly to the university. But we're working right now with another entity to open up a Sonic Boom store to create some looks that, that our fans would typically want to wear. So I just say stay tuned. We're probably going to roll out that maybe this summer. And we're happy, about the looks and some of the stuff that, the people have seen us wear. Like we've got a lot of the program, the windsuits and things like that. We plan to share that with our alumni also.
That's what's up.
Exactly. I think that'll be great, especially with you guys being an ambassador. I mean, we support the world of football, basketball, soccer, and all the other stuff. Why not support the Boom in that way? Now, it don't have to be of course, you're not going to be the same thing as the Boom wear, but, something of it to show that we love the Boom as well.
For sure. No, thank you for that, man. Thank you. But yeah, we should be rolling something out soon.
All right, well, just let us know.
Appreciate you, Doc, man. Have a good night.
Go and get them
Love
2
the
hours.
Boom. 2 hours. Yeah, look, Lord of Boom, everybody. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Be safe. Take care.
That was dope, man. That was dope.
Awesome, wasn't it?
That was so cool. Everybody had some really good questions. That was so.
Look, man, listen. We up to 600, man. Welcome everybody. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Don't leave now, because we just getting started.
Look, true story. I'm gonna be on this transparent moment. You know, guys, sometimes we're on here. We tend to sometimes have a group thread, but my phone, I've literally gotten 6 random not random, but 6 different text messages, all donations. Last one I got was from my sister.
Wow.
Look,
and she
man,
telling me about the class. Some almost sound smaller than her.
Listen, y'all know how we get down. I'm not telling you how to do it. If nobody dropped the link, but feel free to listen. Whatever we raise tonight, every dollar that's going to go directly to the Boom. So let's get it rocking and rolling. Y'all saw we did a $50,000 fundraiser last year to buy weight room equipment and paint the weight room and do all the stuff that we did. We bought an offensive line chute. We bought gazillion pallets of water and Gatorade and all that good stuff, man. We did a lot last year. We bought helmets. We bought ball bags. We bought a freezer for Coach Tamika Reed. We got air fryers. We took the team to the Universal Studios. We got equipment rented for the spring game for Austin and his team. We bought Tiger Talk equipment. We bought equipment for this platform. Man, don't get me started, man. You guys have been unbelievable, have been amazing. I know I just, like I said, we was just gonna jump in a minor way, but I mean, we ain't no minor group, so we can do whatever we choose to do. So if you want to jump in that, like I said, go ahead and send those donations through. We'll tally up, let you know what we collected. I'm pledging 2,500 myself. That's what I'm saying. So from the platform, whatever comes in tonight is gonna be above that, because I know Doc talked about it. I want them to be all out, and I want my family here. I want the squad here, man. I want to roll the red carpet out for y'all. I don't know if that's gonna be able to happen. We'll talk about that offline.
Either way it go.
We'll get into that, but we'll talk about that offline. But I'm gonna be Big Brother Ray on this one. So welcome to the West Coast. Now, I'm going to just tell y'all ahead of time, LA ain't got no food like New Orleans. I'm going to just tell you that right now. I might have to go to Keith Lee's page and just see. But,
no, look, I'm good. I give me a fat burger. I'm good. Y'all can have In-N-Out. I'm going to fat burger.
Funny. That is funny.
It's all good. But no, man, amazing interview. And you know what? I'm okay with the number dropping, because I know a lot of people tune in just for that. And hopefully they subscribe to the channel. We'll get through these. Let's touch on a couple of preliminaries while we're here, and we'll just jump right into it. I did want to talk about this real quick. Let's get these preliminaries out of the way. We have the #1 batter in the country. Shout out to Joseph Eichelberger, man. I know we was leading Mississippi State yesterday, and we was up 5-0. As soon as I turned the game on TD, we walked 3, and then next thing you know, it's 5-5, and I just turned it off. So I don't know what the final score was, but Joseph Eichelberger, 20 hits, 29 at bats. He's batting a .690 right now.
That's
unbelievable,
bro.
And he posted it on Twitter today, letting everybody know I'm the #1 batter in the nation coming out of Jackson State University, man. That's outstanding. That's outstanding. I love that. So y'all know we pulling up to the baseball game. We doing a tailgate. I'm trying to tell y'all,
tailgate, dog.
Baseball game.
It's gonna be lit too. Oh, it's gonna be lit.
690 in basketball terms. 690 in basketball terms is the equivalent of shooting about 80% from the field with 40 points, bro. 85% from the field.
Yeah, that's a damn good analogy. That's a good
That's about the equivalent of it. You got 40 and you shot 85%
from the field.
From the field with 100% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You like 5 or 6 from the 3-point line, and you like 11 for 13 from the from the 2-point line. Like, he getting buckets, like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, wow. Whoa, my brother BJ done made it to the hey, wait a minute, bro. When the championship game, TD?
Friday.
This Friday?
Yes.
Oh,
hey, And I think they playing Yazoo, your boy Carlisle.
Oh
So
my
look,
gosh, I gotta
look.
go.
Well,
I gotta
while
go.
we on it, TD, I gotta do it while we on it. Shout out to the Lady Tigers of Kent High School. My partner's wife is the head coach. Shout out to Melissa Ward. And
Hello,
I know
TD a little calm to be
I gotta
having
be
men
finished,
and the
but,
women. I
J-Dub
can't tell you
TD,
when last
Melissa
time
Word,
MC
man.
had the men and
Shout
women.
out to Melissa Word, man. She's the head coach at Kent High School.
Man, BJ in the championship game. I gotta go support my dog, man. That's my college teammate. I gotta go support my dog, man. Now, hey, listen, it was crazy. We got a Jackson State Tiger that's committed on, with Hoover is gonna be playing in the championship game. And then I got, man, that's gonna be dope.
Who's a family member? I'm gonna be honest. I called my uncle and I let him have it. I said, bro, you live in Canton. I know your wife and this is her nephew over there in Yazoo, but baby, I hope he hit 50 points, but I hope he lose by 60.
Hey, man. Hey, look, it is what it is now. It's gonna be nuts now. I got to get in there for that, bro. I got to go to that one. So listen, basically what y'all trying to tell me is the show might start late.
Hey, look, man. I said I was gonna reach out to BJ. He need to run. They run Wayne County out the court. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna be able to play Wayne County the same. I mean, Yazoo City the same way they play Wayne County because they were bigger than Wayne County. So they big on Hoover, thing, man.
They big on Hoover. That game gonna be sick, man. Yazoo City versus Kent High in the championship game. That's like a rerun of like 2002, ain't it? 2000 no, that's like 98, 99.
Yeah, that back when they had baby Shaq. Yeah, man.
Baby Shaq, they had that was back when
Alonzo Lane
was playing.
Yeah, they
Lane was playing in 99. He was playing in 99. He class of 99. Because I played against Lane in 2000. I played against Lane my junior. Huh?
Lost that game in Yazoo City with Lane and Dwayne Morton and Zoe Gillum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's who it was. Zoe was playing then. Yep.
Yeah, man. Hey,
my cousin was playing. My ex-wife's cousin, man, was playing. Travis Richardson was playing for Big Trav was playing for Yazoo City then. Rod Newton, Shero was playing. Fat was playing then. That team was loaded, man. They were deep.
Well, man. Hey, lost like 69 to 70, man. We missed about 20 free throws.
Hey, Zoe used to get buckets. I gotta give y'all Zoe used to get buckets. Not the Zoe on the screen.
I still do.
He can't hoop. Hey, speaking of basketball, man, the SWAC tournament, the schedule's out. So March 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th, obviously championship game. They broke it down, Faith and Family Night. It'll be at Barton Arena in Birmingham. So for everybody that's going to be rolling over, y'all do know that we expect to the women to take it home. That's the expectation. And of course, we expect the men to come in that thing and do the same. So it's going to be a battle. And we plan on getting over to Birmingham for the SWAC tournament to root on our Tigers, man. I did want to announce this, we KC-1400 Media is a proud sponsor of the Jackson Food and Wine Festival this weekend, man. We jumped in that thing, got us a little partnership, a little sponsorship, man, for the Jackson Food and Wine Festival be for this weekend. Obviously, it's sold out now. We appreciate Visit Jackson being able to partner in a small way to be able to support this amazing event. It'll be at the Mississippi Museum of Art from 6 to 10 p.m. And it's sold out, man. Look, it's over with. If you ain't got your ticket, you can't get in there. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to be featuring over 20 local and regional chefs, beverages, and it's going to be some entertainment, man. So looking forward to that event. We will be present, for this event, and definitely just blessed to be a part of it in a small way. Just continue to grow the brand and continue to do what we're looking to do. The interviews are out, man. Shout out to Austin, man. These interviews it was a pleasure to sit down. I couldn't have done this without the team and the support of them. Go to the page right now. Whenever we're done with the live tonight. Interview with DJ Stevens. We got John Huggins. We also got Deontay Graham. Last but not least, we talked to Isaac Peppers. What I wanted to do was I did one after practice. We did two that night before the game, and we wanted to get two after the game, but wasn't able to get Jaheim Hazel on, and it's all good. You know,
look. I got to interject right there. Look, I told you earlier, but I'm on screen, and I got to tell everybody here, man. Man, y'all shout out my boy Ken Clark, man. My man did his dang. He did his thug thizzle on these interviews, man. Did an outstanding job. And let me tell y'all, everything that was done, it was done out the dome. Nothing was pre-scripted. Nothing was written down. All of this was natural, straight out the dome, man. So kudos to my G, man, because, man, the man puts in the work. It's a lot that goes on into this, man. And Ken, like I told you earlier, bro, you did your damn thing. So, you know, I always give you flowers personally on the phone, but I want everybody here to also give you flowers, man, because the work you put in, and you need to be acknowledged, man. You did your damn thing on these interviews, bro.
I appreciate it. I'll say this, and I move on from it. Just from being on Tiger Talk, shout out to D. Corey C for inviting us to be a part of a great platform. And I guess after you do enough of them, if you go back to the behind the scenes when we were just kind of setting up, I kind of walked away from it. And it gets kind of redundant. I mean, some of the same questions I asked, it's okay, but at that point, you still want to just kind of have a good flow. If you do them enough, you'll kind of remember it. You just kind of don't want to get stuck. So I appreciate that, man. You know, I appreciate the support. But being able to, some of the questions I talked to TD beforehand, I say, man, you got a question that you can ask us. I'm trying to figure out how I put it in there. So TD, what I was doing was I'm listening to the question being answered. I'm trying to think of what's to come next. And then I'm like, okay, I want to make sure it fits, make sure it rolls. And that's why I get frustrated with like the extra noise, because if I hear all this damn noise, then now I done lost my train of thought. And Austin does a great job editing. Only one time I actually asked the questions out of whack. I asked one, I closed too soon, and I was like, damn, I meant to ask this. So I asked him, was like, just move it around. So if you don't catch that, you don't know that. But it's a look, man, it's hard to do anything by yourself. We have a great team, and everybody collaborated and came together, and we just wanted to love on these guys, man, and show them the support. I know we kind of ragged on some of the HBCUs not really having media teams out there, but let me say something, man, because I would be remiss if I didn't say this. Look, man, it takes resources to do this shit. Pardon my French. It takes money. It takes time. Resources. Number one resource to do this is people. People that love what you're doing, want to be a part of what you're doing, and willing to participate. Number two, it takes money. No, I would say it takes time, because not everybody has the time. Some people are working, man. And just because somebody isn't there doesn't mean that they don't want to be there. Sometimes people have demands and all that good stuff. Number three, it takes money. You know what I'm saying? You got to have people that's willing. They got to have the time, and you got to have the money to do it. So if it doesn't happen and we made it happen, let's not act like we didn't literally come to the people and say, hey, man, y'all want to support us in these efforts. We want to go make this happen, and people made it happen. So I want to thank the supporters of this platform, because without the supporters of this platform, this interview is more than likely probably not happening at all. So appreciate you guys for giving us the pouring into us, man, and giving us resources to be able to do what it is that we want to do and love to do and have a passion for doing. So speaking of the Legacy Bowl, I did want to put this up here, just kind of an update from Davius Richard. TD talked about this on Monday. He was very cool, calm, and collected after he had got on the stretcher as it carted him off. But he released a statement today, and I felt like it was important to put this out there. He said, I would like to thank everyone for the overwhelming amount of support and prayers expressed following my injury during the HBCU Legacy Bowl. As a man of faith, I understand wholeheartedly that no weapon formed against these shall prosper. A special thank you to the HBCU Legacy Bowl for awarding me with the offensive MVP of the game. Thank you to the team Gaither for holding it down. I would also like to give a special highlight to my agent, Rashida Liberty, and the entire Lady Lib Sports and Entertainment team for ensuring that I was adequately taken care of. Thank you to the NFL, HBCU community, the University Medical Center, New Orleans medical team, and last but not least, my family and friends. I remain optimistic and in good spirits on the road to recovery and journey back to the field. This is just a test in my testimony. Signed, Davius Richard. I do want to say this right here. The initial time frame for injury is not going to be as long as they were suspected. and I'm happy about that. I would say it this way, and I'll just leave it alone. He had a dislocated ankle. I don't think it wasn't broken. He had a dislocated ankle, and from what I was told, and I'll just briefly touch on it, was that if he receives a camp invite, his teams and agent and everyone feels very confident that he will be ready to go day one of any camp that he gets an invite to. So I really and truly pray and hope that this young brother does not get held back from an opportunity that's afforded to him. He's not a Jack State Tiger, but I am a fan of the kid because he to me, he's an old school throwback of a quarterback. He's tough as a $2 steak. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think if Davius Richard get on a roster, I think that he could actually earn his way up to that type of opportunity. He put me in the mind frame of Dak Prescott, the way that he plays, if I'm being honest. Same style build. And, you know, I would say it this way. Take Davius Richard, put him on a D1 Power 5 team at quarterback with the big offensive line, a good running game, it's decent. You see the same style of time. I think you see some of the same stuff you saw with Dak Prescott. I really do. You know, I'm not getting into the Cowboys debate and all that stuff to Dak right now. Dak has really progressed as a quarterback, and however you feel about that, whatever. But my point is, I think the kid right here, I think he's a pro, in my opinion. I really do. I saw him go tit for tat. Y'all know how I feel about Shedeur, but I saw him in his space go tit for tat with our QB1, and he held his own. Now, he doesn't have to do what Shedeur had to do, but he won the game. So, anyway, I'm happy that he's okay. And last slide I put up there for now is his coach. His coach snapped on the coaches, right? And I'm going to shut up and let y'all jump in on this one. Now, he came back to you and said, I would like to apologize for my language used in my previous tweet. That is not the example that I would like to set for my players, regardless of how strongly I felt and still feel about the situation. But this is the part that I thought was really good. He said, I support the Legacy Bowl and the opportunity to create. However, coaches have to do what they can to protect the players. He said, Doug and Shaq told the coaches early in the week not to run him. On Friday, I sat with the offensive staff and asked them not to run him as well. For whatever reason, the play was called. This is a minor setback for Davius. However, he is a warrior and will bounce back. Thoughts on that, fellas? And ladies.
I mean, I agree with them. You know, of course, you know, being there and seeing it. Yes, football is a physical sport, and yes, injury can happen. But this game warrants certain things. And again, I have to say this first and foremost. No matter what any of you think, the fact remains the game itself is not the testament that's going to prove for them to move up to the next level. It's the practices. It's the practices and it's the interviews. Let me say it again. The game itself is not the tool that's utilized for them to move up to the next level. It's the practices and the interviews leading up during the week, as well as the HBCU combine. So that alone is the reason why the game, and I get with play calls, because again, you want to limit injury from every position across the board. If you notice, they don't really blitz in this game either. And so, especially even hearing that now, if he actually had a conversation with you beforehand, you know, there's no reason to actually run him. The play shouldn't even be called. And again, some people say, well, he's a runner. Yes, he is. But guess what? All these games that he's played, they have that footage. Him being a mobile athlete at quarterback is not the thing that's getting him to the NFL to give him the opportunity. That's not the NFL game. They already know that he could do that. It's whatever your weaknesses are or whatever your weaknesses perceived to be. They want to see you excel at that. Can you sit in the pocket? Can you throw? Can you lead? Can you be a leader? That's the thing they want to see to project to the next level. It's not his mobility, because he's shown that on game film. So why in the hell are we running him in an all-star game? Can I do that?
Well, initially, I'm not gonna say I had a complete problem with the play call, because hey, like I said, it is, you know, the game of football, which is the reason I asked, you know, did he do that himself, or did he pull the ball out from the running back, or did he just make the call himself? And you guys, you know,
no, I was told it was a QB run all the way.
Yeah, you said it was QB run all the way. So, you know, in that case, after hearing what just said, you know, with Doug Williams and staff, and then, you know, Coach Oliver, you know, telling them don't do that, and they still chose to do it. I understand his frustration and him being upset now.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense. So again, you know, prayers to the young man. You know, I hope he have a speedy recovery. And his faith, you know, within himself, man, just shows the character that he has. And, you know, with that being said, man, I am a super fan of his now, because, you know, things happen in life for a reason. And in this case right here, you know what I'm saying, he'll find his reason and they'll let him know where he needs to be. So kudos to him for having a positive attitude. You know, much respect to the hospital for taking care of him the way he needs to, who he gave props to. And I wish him, you know, much success, you know, in the future as far as being drafted or whatever has happened.
Yeah, I agree. The reality of football is that you could have got hurt standing up in the pocket. If you don't get hurt, then nobody's talking about it. But if it do, it's kind of like that's. I guess you don't want. I totally understand the frustration, like you said, and I'm not going to repeat it. What's done is done. God's will is sovereign, man. And everybody, like he said, this is a test within his testimony, man. So sometimes this may be the thing that gets him to that next level. Believe it or not, as weird as it is, it could be very impressive to somebody that can sign him to a deal and say, man, this young man is tough as nails, man. And he went through this, and he didn't bat an eye. He stayed poised. He stayed down. He came back stronger than ever. And that very well could be the thing that makes him take a second. I don't know. I just hope and wish him all the best, man. So, Brother C. Lee, if you're watching, I invite you to come back up. We are an hour 30 minutes in. I want to jump into this bill again. I do. Go ahead, TD.
I can. I want to go back because I tried to intervene when you were speaking earlier about. I want to touch on the interviews and stuff that you did and with Austin team. I want to say to Tiger Nation, you know, Austin put it in the chat. But again, I would like to say thank you guys, you know, for the support that you did for Austin and his team. Austin run with you know, a lot of students and young men who's trying to pay, trying to find their way, you know, in the industry, and they need the support, you know. So with what Tiger, you know, what we did in raising the fund, you know, the funds for them to go and to support Austin and get those glamorous shots and interviews that y'all did, man. Again, that goes to what Ken was saying, what it take capital in order to get this done. So again, I would like to say thank you for supporting, you know, Austin and his team, you know, for to be able to shoot those dope interviews that Ken that Ken sat down with the players and had, man. That was, you know, so again, appreciate it.
Ken and guys, I've been sitting too long. I gotta go take some pain medication.
Yeah.
I'm over here rocking from side to side. So
thank you for coming up, for real.
Thank y'all for checking on me, and I love y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to pray for me. It's just one of the particular stitches is not healing well, so I gotta go take some pain medicine. So I see y'all later.
All right.
Take care.
OG.
Brother C. Lee, man, I appreciate you. Let me set you up before you go. I appreciate everybody. Y'all keep those donations coming in. Listen, like I told y'all, if you're just coming in, those donations that we collect is going to the boom. It's not for us. I pledged $2,500 from this platform to go and be a Tiger sponsor, and so you'll see. I mean, I would love to get to the $10,000 amount. You know, why not do it? Let's do it. Let's go for it. We'll give it a couple days, right? Let's be a silver sponsor. Since the first member of the channel tonight that joined was a silver member. Here's what a silver sponsorship would do: donor recognition on the Sonic Boom website, donor recognition on the JSU social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, donor recognition in concert programs, booklets, inclusion in select digital media, free admission for 2 people to ban events, invitation to attend the 2024 JSU DF Legacy Wall Reveal, name listed in the Jacksonian for F24 and FY25, name listed on the Jackson State University Development Foundation Legacy Wall in 24 or 25. So, I mean, we're going to go as far as we can go. If we don't get to 10,000, we'll just do 2 Tiger sponsors. How about that? Brother C. Lee, I wanted to set you up, man. I know we talked for a good minute today. And like I said, I always appreciate you because one of the things we did talk about, I see She Loves D out there, Timona. We talked about some, I'm gonna put this up here now because I feel like it's important. I'll start here because TD, this platform here is on IG. I think they got over 4.
Echo. There's an echo.
Brother Seeley, I'm gonna mute you real quick. I think that's where it comes from. And then when you speak, I'll just mute myself, mute everybody. I do want to set this up though. The bill that came out, and I did not take the portion that you sent in regards to Senator Hillman Frazier, but I'll have you speak to that because you did speak to him and he did email you. And I just want to say this because I realize this, man, in the social media world that we are in, people do a lot of things for clickbait. They do a lot of things for likes, shares, engagement. And sometimes they do misleading things. Now, listen, we all discussed the bill on Monday, but here's the thing that's disappointing in today's time right now. You know, people don't read, man. They just read the headlines and keep rolling. They try to extract the entire thought process of whatever they feel about something based off of a 2-liner or a couple of pages. So we all know the bill that we spoke about, but they kind of put this out there. Now, in their defense, it is a HBCU platform. So in essence, they're not saying anything wrong, but they are though. When you say the new Mississippi bill, you put one word in there that literally tells you everything. It said could lead to the closure of 3 HBCUs. I'm sorry, folks. When somebody pops up and they just read this, they're not gonna go into. They're not looking at the potential. All they see is what they trying to close all 3 HBCUs in Mississippi. And then if you look in the comment section, that is the consistent consensus of exactly what everybody's talking about. And what disappointed me and why this, I was on I got exhausted. I was like, you know what? I can't fight this shit. I'm just gonna talk about it on the show and move on. Because I saw somebody in the comment section. I saw a potential future student was like, man, I got accepted to Jackson State. And somebody replied to them, I'm sorry. I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. This damn post got this potential future student afraid, thinking that, damn, I got accepted to Jackson State, but they finna close Jackson State. So that's what I'm saying. And I'm watching everybody post it. Ben Crump posted it. It's everybody's putting it out there, right? And it's like, my goodness, man. I'm blown away. Hold on just a second. I just got an inbox. Make sure there ain't nothing wrong. Oh man. My brother just sent me a photo of us with our older brother who passed away. Oh, that's a cool photo, man. Love that, man. But anyway, so this is what he said. I just took 2 pages from the actual post, and just because this is what I wanted to talk about. So they literally went and did the work. They went and got the logos. They went and got the Jackson State logo, the Mississippi Valley logo, and the Alcorn logo, and put all 3 of those logos together. Although there's more HBCUs in the state of Mississippi, they just started with the big 3, right? And I know there's other, but of the bill, listen, it says the 3 HBCUs are part of the Mississippi Institutes of Higher Learning and could be impacted by the bill. The bill also directly states each state institution in the bill, including 5 other public institutions in the state. You can say that, but yet and still, you still highlighted these 3. And although you're not wrong, but you're also wrong. When we say 2 things can be true at the same time, look, man, this thing got a lot of smoke, and people were sharing this post, and I just really thought it was just disappointing because I'm like, come on, man, you know. But anyway, I'll start there, and then we'll expand into the conversation and the dialogue. Feel free if anyone wants to come up and join the conversation. Come on up now, Brother C. Lee. Floor is yours.
So first of all, I want to say I know Zoe just popped off. There you go. There goes Zoe. I always tell people you don't say thank you enough, and so I think one of the things that I want to make sure I say to Zoe and TD and you and Sister Rochelle and Marcus, just thank you for this platform, because this platform once again allows us to refute this type of inaccuracies. And I think that this speaks to the heart. And I had to be told about this. I think my wife, who is currently in Houston right now at a voter development program in Ken. Those are two people. Like y'all know, I'm not on social media. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on X. Any of that. And so I had to be told about this. Didn't know. And then I caught the last. Glad to see She Loves D did a last component of this. But it's sad when, how can I say this? Most people don't know the difference between reputable and disreputable reporting.
Mm-hmm.
If your website or your YouTube platform looks glossy or clean or exciting, that's actually what people say are going to say you're reputable, right? It doesn't have anything to do with your reporting, doesn't have anything to do with your research. And so I didn't know this. Go ahead.
No. I'm telling Ron T, you'll get the truth if you listen. We
Right.
also talked about it on Monday. It's coming.
Right. Right. And so most people don't know the difference between these two things. And, just bringing in Ron T's question, the point is that there's a difference between reporting factual information versus taking a piece of information and inflaming that as the only part of the story.
Right.
See, what we were discussing Monday was the historic attack on HBCUs. That's what our discussion was. Our discussion was about the historic attack on HBCUs. But to take that and put it out in a way where people are going to leave your article, leave your platform with the notion that these 3 schools are about to be closed, period, end of story. That's the lie. And that's what we call in critical thinking an inferred lie, right? You inferred the lie. And I used to teach about like what is an inference. And so what this article and what this space did, it inferred upon something, right? Knowing that people would click on it, knowing that people tend not to read everything. And then you get this firestorm where, coming to Ken's point and then my wife's point, you have people actually thinking that at this moment, Jackson State, Alcorn, and Valley are going to be closed by the end of the year. Those are 2 different conversations. And if you don't understand, here's what I say, if you don't understand that those are 2 different conversations, then you probably shouldn't be in the media space unless you're only in a media space to generate likes and money for yourself, where the truth is just a sidebar to you getting clicks and likes. I'll stop there and see what somebody wants. And yeah, because there's something else I want to talk about. Because I saw somebody, and again, I'll use this as an example. Somebody, like I said, I caught the end of CLD, and so, and someone said, well, maybe these schools should have online presence as a way to generate. Let me ask y'all a question in the chat. Do y'all know that Jackson State currently has 28 degrees that you can get exclusively online? How many people know that? How many people know that Jackson State offers 28 degrees, 28 online degrees, where you don't have to step foot on campus to get a degree? So then even that kind of misinformation puts out there that Jackson State is not doing everything it needs to be doing as a university. And so it's when people make those kind of statements. When somebody said, now, could you say Jackson State should have more online programs, or Alcorn should have more online programs, or Valley should have more? See, that's a different statement. There's a different statement between these schools should have more online programs as opposed to saying these programs should. And the Mississippi administration, that's the whole point of the bill. They have not specified which schools should be closed. What they said is they put here, here are the 4 elements that we're going to use. We're going to use these 4 elements, and then over a period of 3 years, we're going to then say which ones we want to have close. Now, putting coming up a little bit closer, we can discuss this. I was fortunate enough to get an email from Senator Hillman Frazier. Senator Hillman Frazier is a Jackson State alum. He's a great senator who's been on the battlefield for us. Because also props to the Jackson State University National Alumni Association. Because remember we talked Monday night that the bill is in subcommittee, right? The bill is right now in subcommittee. It's in a subcommittee called the Colleges and Universities Committee. That's what it is in. And Senator Hillman Frazier emailed me because a couple of us had already started our letter writing campaign. After I wrote my article on this, I actually wrote a letter to the 13 senators on that subcommittee. The Jackson State University National Alumni Association did a great job putting out the email addresses of that. And so a lot of us have already sent letters. Senator Hillman Frazier, reacting to my article and to my letter, emailed me and essentially said, don't even worry about it. This bill is dead on arrival. That this bill, he spoke to the chair of and so this is what's important. Senator Hillman Frazier, who's on the committee, spoke to the chair, the head of the subcommittee, and said this bill is not going to make it out of subcommittee. Because remember, that's what we said. We said that it had to be voted on. Then after it was voted on, then it would go to the full body for a vote. And so getting the email from Senator Hillman Frazier, who's on the subcommittee, he said that it doesn't have legs. Now, people say, well, what does all this speak to? All of this speaks to 2 things. It speaks to, on the one hand, we know that there are still neo-Confederates who are doing everything in their power to repeal civil rights gains and to perpetuate the second-class citizenship of African Americans, primarily through education. And so you're always going to have people who are presenting these kind of bills. And it is incumbent upon us to identify these things and to say, hey, y'all, look at what's coming down the pipe, because what's coming down the pipe could impact us. That's what we were saying. And so what we spent the bulk of Monday night, if people go watch the show Monday night, we spent the bulk of Monday night discussing 2 things. The history of attack on HBCUs, and 2, what we can do as a people to be more proactive than reactionary. So for somebody to then take that and start saying, oh, HBCUs in Mississippi about to be closed just so they could get more clicks, just so they could get more likes, right? That's why I'll say this. Zora Neale Hurston, famous novelist, said, all my skin folk ain't my kinfolk. Right. And we got too many people in the HBCU sports and culture space that's basically, they are pimping the culture for likes and advertising, and they will stir up this type of false frenzy with misleading information, not because they want to get the truth out, but simply because they want to be the center of attention. I'll shut up and see what anybody has.
I saw this comment right here a lot today in all of the posts that I've seen. And this is, while this is true, I just think the simplest way to put this is that there was no specification of any institution. There wasn't. It was just, they listed the criteria, but at the end of the day, it was like, hey man, look, it's out there. It's not even going to get called up for voting, and it's not going to get voted on. Not in this session, it won't. So at the end of the day, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, we have to be able to tell the story, but I think it speaks to an even bigger problem though, C-Lee and TD, and that is that people just won't read for themselves.
Right.
You're not going to read. I mean, you can say, okay, the bill is short. It's a 6-page bill. Go check it out for yourself. You're not going to do it.
Right.
You're not going to do it. We want the cliff notes. We want the reels. We want the world has turned into a big IG reel. Everybody's attention span is about 60 seconds. They don't have a long time to sit down and read something. Tell me what it says. And when you package something together like this right here and put it in a nice little shiny bow, this is good stuff, man. Oh man, Mississippi, it could lead to 3HB. Oh man, they trying to shut us down. Da 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 da. You know, it just, and then everybody goes into this panic. It's fear mongering. It's those are the types of things that get people worked up. You know what I'm saying? And that thing grew legs. I was like, I hope you're making money off of it, because if you do, boy, you made some money today, or whatever day it was. And like I said, it doesn't mean that the platform doesn't do good work, but it also means that, you know, just because you make it look nice in a shiny bow doesn't mean. Says Brother C. Lee, yes, maybe they are reporting for clicks, but would it get the same attention using smaller schools' names? It's not.
No,
again,
let me answer that. The problem is not all attention is good attention, especially when you're leading with something that is inferring an untruth. So you're saying that, okay, well, if we put Jackson State in that, it's going to people. The problem is when you are saying that, when you're doing that, you're causing a frenzy. Because what we were doing, by the way, if people remember our discussion, we were using this also to discuss it's legislatures like this is why Jackson State, Alcorn, and Valley doesn't get the funding for like housing, funding for like athletics, funding. We were pivoting and saying that while this information could lead to this, it's also a better way of understanding. So that article, that website didn't talk about things about the struggle around funding, didn't talk about things around the struggle around housing, didn't talk. It just said, hey, y'all, they about to close these schools, period. And so that's the problem, that when you are leading that way, you destroy all the other great conversations that we had Monday, because all you want to do is get more likes and people to your website, as opposed to having these kind of flushed out, nuanced discussions about why is it that HBCUs in Mississippi and across the nation. Remember, we talked about DEI. Did this website talk about DEI? No, it didn't talk about DEI. We talked about what was happening in Florida and Alabama. Did this website talk about what was happening in Florida and Alabama? So this website was not interested in having a nuanced, real conversation about liberation struggle and civil rights struggle and HBCUs at the center of that. This website was simply interested in saying, I'm going to generate excitement. We are now living, and it was happening before this, but essentially we're now living in the Cat Williams age of media. That's all it is. That everybody now is taking the Cat Williams playbook, which of course is also the Donald Trump playbook. So you got the Donald Trump playbook, the Cat Williams playbook, and it's the whole thing that all news is good news, anything is good, and we don't care about the ramifications. We simply just want people to click on us, and whether or not they're having a nuanced conversation has nothing to do. And as Sister Sheila D says, that false information does have an effect on investors and students and people who don't know the discussion we had. And here's the other thing. Why didn't you put a link to the discussion we had Monday night? Why didn't you put a link to say, oh, for more information? See, now I'm going to talk now about the difference between a real intellect and somebody on YouTube posing as an intellect. See, because when you get something from Sidney McInnes and TD and Ken and everybody else can attest to this, right? People talk about, well, Sidney, why do you always have those long A articles? Why? One, because they're well-researched. But what's usually at the end of them, Ken and TD? A bibliography, a works cited. You know what a bibliography and a works cited is? It's for additional reading. It's not just to make sure I don't plagiarize. I have links in there. I'm like, click on this. Go see this. So when I see websites and platforms do these things and there's no additional reading, I know it's all about you. It's not about the information. It's not about the issue. It's not about actually informing people, because if it was about informing people, you would have had links to the discussion we had Monday night. You had links to other places where they can go get information. And because you didn't have those links and that additional information, I know then that it was simply about clickbaiting and not really about informing the community.
You know what? Go ahead. You got it.
And hey, look at that statement that Trent put up at 10:52.
You gotta
the one about the water.
I know the bill was a head fake. Yep. Yeah. I was about to touch on something like this, but I wanted to. So let me touch on She Loves D first, because I saw Timona. I saw a comment she put out on Twitter though, and it's so true. The reason this type of stuff is exhausting when it's misinformation is because the truth never gets the same momentum.
Right.
It's man, you can feed people, Brother C. Lee, all the links, all the truth, all the data, and you like, here. And they like, I don't want it.
Right.
Because the lie just tastes so good. I'm full on the lie. So I don't have an appetite for the truth. Ooh, that's a bar.
Right. And also,
but what Brother Trent just said, I felt like this bill is a diversionary tactic.
But also, can we address that? Remember, we addressed that because one of the things I said was Pope was a part of the other people who presented the other three bills to take over Jackson. So Trent is right that other people not discussing it, but we discussed it Monday night. We said that this bill, Senate Bill 2726, is authored by and supported by the same people who proposed the three bills: one, to take over Jackson's water; two, to create a separate judge or municipal system; and three, to allow people outside the city of Jackson to remove officials elected by them. We discussed that. And so, and Trent is right, is that what's happening is that people elsewhere not doing it, but we're doing it. That was the whole point of discussing Senate Bill 2726 Monday night, was to connect. Remember, we said that this is just another example of the attack on the city of Jackson and on Jackson State, and as a way to perpetuate the second-class citizenship of Black people.
So DJ 85, there is some truth to that, but this is what I want to say. A diversionary tactic is to have you to expend time and energy over here, when in actuality the real battle is over here. I'm over here picking you apart, but you over here fighting. Listen, folks, we don't have to fight this bill. Let me say it this way. It's horseshit. I just want to put it out there that way. Maybe you get it. It's a crap bill. That's not going to happen. So don't lose sight of the fact that these are the same people that are trying to take over the money that the government sent over to get the water fixed in Jackson. We got to stay focused on that.
Right.
We got to stay ready to fight. Because this is what they know. You try to close Jackson State, we're going to freaking riot. I'm just telling you, man. They don't want to deal with, man, Jackson, Mississippi is 81% African-American. Last time I checked. Over 80%. I do know. I exact number.
Right. Yeah, we over 80%.
Over 80% African-American. Listen, man, we're not finna stand back and watch folks take school like that. You're going to have all kind of problems on your hand. And I just think the world ain't ready for the day when Black people finally get to the point where they say, I done had enough. Yeah. We done seen a lot of groups have that same mentality, but I don't think we've ever seen us get to the point to where we push to the point to where we like, okay, you know what? The hell with it. Let's go all out. And it might be a good thing for us, but TD, I know you want to jump in there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to ask, man. First of all, has the money been received to repair the water system? And number two, it seems as if improvements have been made. You know, we had one of the strongest, coldest January. I mean, my gosh. You know what I'm saying? Everything seemed to hold up pretty good. And so I was, giving props to the contractor, the gentleman that they brought in who's heading that. So are y'all saying that's the gentleman who's trying to pass off?
Well, he's a part of a collection.
Yes.
Here we go. You got people, you got corrupt whites government, you got corrupt, whatever the hell, government officials of the state of Mississippi that's collaborating together collectively to take the money that the federal government has. Biden is basically, they passed a law to send money over there to help. And I know the money's there. I think we'll get $600 million at one point, and then another 600, something to that effect.
Yeah, it's gonna be in stages. And
but how is that?
Let me ask you a question. So here's the deal. So the money comes in stages, right? Let's go back. The money, that $600 million, is due to two people, two and only two people. Congressman Benny Thompson and President Biden.
Yep.
Let's be clear about that. Because the governor and the state legislature refused to give Jackson the money it was owed, not extra money. You have to understand that the governor is on record for bragging for diverting money that was supposed to go to Jackson elsewhere.
That's facts.
See, this is not an issue of Jackson isn't using his sources properly. Our governor said he bragged about, I diverted money from Jackson to somewhere else, money that was so what happened was that once this $600 million got appropriated, then the governor and the legislature decided, well, we want somebody to oversee it. That's where that came in at. That the money was initially going to go from Thompson to Biden to the city of Jackson, and the city of Jackson was going to oversee that money, and the state stepped in and wanted a third party. And now this appointed third party person who seems to be a lapdog for the governor is now saying that, oh, now I think that the state should have control of this money and not the city of Jackson. Why? Because what the state wants to do is the same thing they've done with everything else, is take money for Jackson and divert it elsewhere. The major problem that the governor, I end on this, the major problem that the governor has with the city of Jackson, and this is what I call a strength that we may not understand. For whatever reason, Jackson, Mississippi's residents they are just strong enough. They are just strong enough that the city can't be gentrified. We're not strong enough to control itself. We're not strong enough to kind of get ourselves going because of the way that the state keeps putting these hurdles. But TD, the governor don't understand why the Negroes won't just die. The state of Mississippi, and I need to say this, the state of Mississippi has done everything it can to kill a city, and them Negroes won't die. And so because Jackson won't die, now the only way they can take it is through legislation. Usually when you do everything to a city that the state has done to a city, that city dies. But Jackson, Mississippi has been strong enough to where since Jackson won't just die, now we're going to take it legislatively. Go ahead, TD, I'm sorry. And then I know Trent wants to jump in.
Yeah, man, I just have a question about the solution. The reason I don't get into a lot of back and forth, because at the end of the day, it's woofing, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to do it, you're going to do it. You know, whatever needs to be done, let's get to the point. That's why, you know, I like to deal with stuff. But with that being said, what can we do, or what can be done to stop the proposal of the state taking over the money? I mean, if Congressman Thompson and President Biden put the money out there, and I think Thompson, you know, provided the money, why isn't that? And they see how the state has done. Why isn't that been seen by them, rather than this whole, okay, well, let us get our hands on it? How can that be prevented?
I'm going to answer and let Trent take over. So, two things. All money, people don't understand, all money that comes through the federal, unless through executive order or special program, all money that comes from the federal government goes through state, county, and then city. That's why people don't really understand how strong county board of supervisors are, and people should be more involved in county board of supervisors, because county board of supervisors handle more money. And so the state is going to make the argument in court. So to answer your question, the way that you prevent it is what Mayor Lumumba has done. His only recourse right now is lawsuits. Just like he's threatened to file the lawsuit with the airport, he's threatened to file a lawsuit. That's his only recourse right now, because the state's argument is, since federal money is supposed to come through the state anyway, we should have. That's how the federal government. That's how Mississippi is able to reject like Medicare and Medicaid funding. Like the state of Mississippi rejects millions, close to billions of dollars that would be designed to help poor people, just because they don't want to help poor people. So the recourse is Mayor Lumumba filing a lawsuit, and the argument that the state is going to make is that, well, all monies are supposed to come through the state anyway, and so since all monies are going to come through the state, we're going to challenge President Biden's ability to get his money directly to Jackson. I'll shut up and let Trent add whatever that and anything else he wants to add.
Y'all caught me typing. I guess where we are, to go back, there's a reason that the first $600 million that came in from the federal government bypassed the state. And it bypassed the state because, as C. Lee just said, you have a history of the state, once it gets money, not then turning around and using that money to benefit places of color, or using money to benefit the people for whom it was originally intended. You have a history of that. The missing welfare money is but the latest example. The $200 million that Alcorn is owed just over the last 30 years as a land grant institution. Let alone, and I made a post about this on Twitter a few days ago. If you're owed $272 million over the last 30 years, how much money has been stolen or misappropriated or reappropriated away from Alcorn since 1872 when Alcorn was founded? That's a question nobody's really tried to get to the answer. But back to the water situation, the $600 million, as I said before, the Mississippi legislature nor the Tate Reeves administration had any interest whatsoever in the Jackson water system. We were all over the national and international news because when you turned your faucet, then clean water was not coming out. If you were getting water to come out at all, they had no interest. At that point in time, there was a bunch of finger pointing between the mayor and the governor and officials of the state. That's how you ended up with a federally appointed water manager in the first place. So having said that, once it became clear that the federal government was sending money in to fix the water, and that money was coming directly to Jackson to be overseen by a federally appointed water manager, all of a sudden at that point, now you start seeing these bills in the legislature to appoint a regional authority. And whenever you see the words regional authority as it applies to Jackson, what that means is that the governor and the lieutenant governor are going to appoint a bunch of people from the suburbs to oversee something that directly affects Jackson. That's what that means. If you look back, every time they say we want a regional authority, then it has always been, okay, well, we want this to be spread regionally, meaning basically at least the Tri-County area. And of course, we know that once you're outside of Hinds County, then you have Madison and Rankin County, which are the two most heavily Republican counties in the state, which in a state like Mississippi is saying something, but historically you can go back. Think about the Grand Gulf nuclear plant. Grand Gulf nuclear plant is in Claiborne County, which again is probably about an 80 or 85% black county. At the point in time when Grand Gulf was being built, all the income that was going to be generated was supposed to inure to the benefit of Claiborne County. But the way that bill was drafted, now they still wanted the nuclear plant, but all that income that was generated doesn't go to Claiborne County, which is still one of the blackest and incidentally poorest counties in the state of Mississippi. That money that is being generated by that nuclear plant is spread around. If you go back and look at that enabling legislation, which is about 40 years ago. So whenever something that is going to come in that affects Black people, and there's going to be money that is supposed to inure to the benefit of Black people, then there's always some enabling legislation that comes in so that Black people never get to see the benefit of that money. When they decided they wanted to take over the airport, I tell people this over and over again. When people think about the airport itself, all they really think about is what is physically the airport, those 3 or 4 runways that they got out there, and that building and a couple of buildings that are kind of annexed to it. That's what they think about. What they don't think about is all that land that runs almost up to Lakeland Drive.
Right.
All of that development is what was being sought after. They don't care about the airport itself. They want to develop the property. And right now that property is under the Jackson Municipal Airport Authority, which is a majority Black board, because the mayor does control who's appointed to that airport authority.
They don't like that either, boy.
And that is where that came from.
Yep.
So they want to be able to develop, because if you look out there, what you're looking at is basically land that runs up adjacent to Dogwood Festival Market, all the way over to the movie theater, all the way back darn near to Highway 80. So you're looking at a lot of property that they would love to develop. And there's some development that has occurred. But rather than that development inuring to the benefit of the city of Jackson by way of the present airport authority, they want an entire new board,
right?
Because they want to control the development of that land.
Right.
Because the airport's probably not going to get much bigger, because we're so backwards in this state in the way that our politics is conducted, that it is not conducive long term to growth, to economic growth, or for that matter, to population growth in this state as a whole. So they're always looking at how to line their pockets. That's what taking over the water is about. That's what taking over the airport is about. That's what always underfunding and reappropriating money that Black institutions are supposed to receive. And somehow that money always goes to white institutions. That's what that's always about, because when you go to develop land, you're going to give out a bunch of contracts to make sure that that happens. And those contracts will not be going to minority vendors. So I said that, and I'll hand it back over.
And I want to just kind of connect what Trent said. So Ron T, no one is dismissing what you're saying. He says that 2009, I believe Governor Barber specifically named Jack State Alcorn and MBSU as part of the merger proposal. Not sure that dismissing this is a bluff. That's not what we're doing. You clearly didn't understand. Now, let me finish, Ken. Let me finish, because I wanted to connect it. You clearly then are dismissing everything we said Monday night, Ron T, by saying your last sentence is not sure dismissing this as a bluff. No. What we discussed Monday night was how the proposed bill directly related to what Trent just talked. We talked about the airport Monday night. We talked about the taking over the water Monday night. We talked about the taking over the judges Monday night. It's not about dismissing it as a bluff, but we're talking about putting it in context so that nationally people are not running around talking about Jack State Alcorn Valley is going to be closed tomorrow, because that's what's out there now. Rather than having this nuanced discussion that Trent just gave us about how the proposed bill relates to what's happening with the airport, no one's discussing that. They're just saying, oh, Jack State Alcorn Valley is going to close. And to Trent's point about that, what really intensified their desire to reclaim the airport, to take over the airport, was that the insurance agent, there was an insurance agent, and the insurance agent was white. And there's a bid all the time. And so when the board sought new contracts, it just so happened that the best bid for the contract was a Black insurance agent. And when that black insurance agent was awarded the contract for the airport, the white guy who had it raised holy hell and went to his white legislative buddies, because as Trent said, it's about developing and who's going to get the contracts. And so the airport is about two things. As Trent said, it's about that $890-something million that the airport generates and all the property around the airport and who's going to get the contracts. And they want to make sure that the city of Jackson and black business owners and black people don't benefit from those contracts. And that's what we tied all that to that bill, Ron T. That's it. I'll shut up.
Let me ask this though. So he was saying that, so Ron T is insinuating that because of the 2009 attempt to merge the universities, that we're dismissing the Post. Is that
no, he's saying that we're being too. Once we said that, I spoke to Senator Fraser, got a communication with Senator Fraser, and that this bill is not going to make it out of the subcommittee, right? And he's saying that, I guess he's saying that we're not dismissing it as a real thing. We're not dismissing it as a real thing, Ron T. We're simply saying that we use the discussion of this bill to connect all the dots of how Jackson is being attacked. Jackson. Go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry.
I just got a simple question. I don't even want to go complex with it. My question to Ron T would be this: if you can hold fast to a post that we're sharing explaining how you can extract certain details to create misinformation, my question to Ron T is what does it mean when we tell you that a real senator actually in the House, the man that proposed the bill, is telling you plain as day it ain't gonna see the light of day? Now my question is, what does that mean to Ron T? Like, what does that mean? Forget the, because what it sounds like to me is that this is why it blows my mind, man. I'm telling you, this is why the world is so different now, man. You go talk. No, I'm not talking about Ron T. I'm just saying you could literally talk to people, and people would rather entertain their imagination and the thoughts that they accumulated from a thought or a thing, and they just will not exchange it for the truth.
Right.
You can hand them the truth and say, here it is. And it's like, but what about? And it's like, do you want the truth or do you not want the truth?
Right.
And then we start adding all these absolute inconsequential facts about things. Yes, here's a fact. In 2009, there was a conversation around some idiotic idea to merge the three institutions. It did not happen. That's also the fact that it did not happen. So it's like you're saying, well, don't take away my fear, because it can happen. What you're talking about in 2009 didn't happen. It was a crap bill that didn't see the light of day. Here we are in 2024. It's the same thing. So I just wonder, like, what does it mean when a real senator tells you that it's not even going to be brought up to be voted on? Like, what does that mean to someone that's actually talking about this conversation? I'm just curious.
And let me ask you, let me bring it to a football, because y'all know I come to y'all for my football expertise. So this is a question I want for both Ken and TD, and then even Trent, if you want to climb in. When you get prepared for a team, on average, Ken and TD, if you're on defense and you're preparing for a team, on average, and I know it can be up and down, but on average, as a defense, how many plays are you generally preparing for when you face another team? Like, so you're spending a week. So let's say Jackson State's getting ready to play Alcorn. The defense, the Jackson State defense, approximately, I'm saying in general, how many plays do you think the Jackson State defense is preparing for going into the game against Alcorn?
That's a pretty tough question. I mean, because you never know how many snaps. But I'll say round.
I don't mean like when I say okay. When I say plays, I mean like actual
snaps.
Plays they gonna call schemes. They gonna like they run play 1, they run play 2, they run play 3. Like how many like plays that a team that generally say these are the kind of plays they like to run? You gonna prepare for about how many of those?
Oh, okay. I mean, that's a tough question. I mean, I guess they have certain plays that they like to run, maybe 5 or 10.
Okay, so let's say 10
plays, but then and
then they got their trick play, but we know that every game they run these 10 plays, right? So if I prepare for those 10 plays, but they only run 8 of them, was I wrong, TD?
No.
That's the point we're trying to tell people, that our discussion Monday night was about a play in the arsenal of white supremacy. But the difference between what we did Monday night and what this website did is that we discussed several plays in connection to that one play, where this website only said, this the play. Does that make sense, TD? And so to have out there, this is what's happening. They closed in Jackson State, Alcorn Valley. As opposed to the discussion we had, hey, this bill is connected to all the other plays that they like to run. That's where the problem is in getting people to understand the difference between what we did Monday night versus what this website did whenever it did what it did. Oh, and also, I need to add this to everybody. I usually like to plan. I like to plan and do everything planned up, but I'm switching my internet service. So I'm switching from Comcast to C-Spire, but I miscalculated. My Comcast ends tonight, and my C-Spire don't kick in till tomorrow. So I hope that at midnight, when Comcast ends, I hope that in the middle of the conversation I'm going, and I'm not. So just so y'all know, something happened. So because I don't like to do, I can't do Comcast. I just can't do them anymore. And so that's so folks know. So if I stop in the middle of something, it's because Comcast said, "Oh, you want to end your stuff right now?" And so so the C-Spire kicks on tomorrow. So if I disappear, that's what happened, y'all. It won't be white supremacy. It'll be Silly's bad planning on his internet service. All right, that's it.
No, it's all good, man. I'm sorry. I'm over here. The Lakers were getting whooped by 20 when I wasn't paying attention. Then I look up, TD, they tied it. Now they up 6 with like a minute to go. I was like, whoa. All right, I'm good. That means whenever the show go off, I get to go watch the highlights now. I ain't got to turn the TV off for a week. But anyway, no. Huh?
It's not over yet.
You know what? You're right. Speaking of the Lakers, it go left fast too, bro. But no, man. No, but listen, where we are right now, like I said, we're going to continue to always, anything that's out there, we're going to continue to come back and give them, give that raw and that real about it. It's hard to have a fair trial and come out on top of Mississippi. Yeah, I just think we as a people can do more, though, to kind of help us. I just think that the thing that hurts us, not only is it the vote, not voting and all that type of stuff, but it's also where we spend our money. And I just think that's something that could also help as well. I mean, that's another nuance that we talked about, the buying power of the African American people. We talked about it on Monday.
And that website didn't say anything about that. Like, see, didn't say anything about all those different types of nuances. And what I also want to add for those of you who may not know, and this may seem like ancillary, but it's about messaging and information. People should, I want people to be aware, Brad Franklin has a show that he does on Sundays. I think it's 97.7. And the show is specifically designed to do two things. One, specifically, to counter the bad news that you get about Jackson by showing the good things that's happening in the city of Jackson. And so there's also been a move by the the mayor's administration and other people in the city to get more people to watch and support Brad Franklin's show. So if you are familiar with Brad, what Brad do, I've seen it mostly on YouTube. But I'm saying that because you have to understand that we have more entities working against Jackson and Jackson State.
Yeah.
And so we have to support what Brad is doing on 97.7. We have to support, and if you can, buy subscription to the Jackson Advocate. The Mississippi Link is still out there. It's not like doing what it was doing, but Mississippi Link is out there. You shouldn't be reading the Clarion the Clarion Ledger. Sorry, I have it's hard to break. You shouldn't be reading the Clarion Ledger if you're not reading the Jackson Advocate. You shouldn't be watching LBT, ABT if you're not tuning in to Brad Franklin. And so what I want to do is give a challenge, because there's going to be some moves here where there's going to be some more investment put behind Brother Brad to help him expand. I can't speak on it. I just know that there are some very concerned people who like what Brad is doing in illuminating the city in a great way. And so pretty soon, Brad is going to be meeting with some more people. And so we really want people, because if you can tune in and watch bad news about Jackson, untruth about Jackson, you should know where you can go to get the positive information. And so Brad Franklin, and that's somebody putting in AKA Kamikaze. If you don't know, Brad was David Banner's rap duo partner in the what was it called, Crooked Letters? What it was a group of Crooked Letters. And so I remember, because me and Trent and Brad, we were all classmates together. We watched Brad get started, and see, Trent was down with the culture. See, I was still blues, funk, and rock and roll. I didn't think hip hop was gonna make it. I was one of them people that thought hip hop was gonna be a fad. I was one of them. I remember when Kamikaze was rapping, I was like, brother, you're wasting your English literary talents on that rap music. Come on over here to the poetry and to the blues, brother. That hip hop ain't gonna make it. I was one of them people back in the late 80s telling y'all hip hop is gonna be a fad. So I lost that war. I'm here to tell you I lost. Look here, hip hop is doing their 50-year anniversary, and I'm the one they doing the victory lap on. So support Brad Kamikaze Franklin, because he's doing great work.
Hey, C. Lee, can you complete this sentence? Vainglorious. This is protected by
the red, the black, and the green. You can't say the last word. Look,
with
Trent.
the key.
Well, Trent, I was trying to tell my students, what's the name of that group?
X-Clan.
X-Clan. I couldn't think of the name of the group. Look, y'all know I am the least hip-hop person on the planet, but X-Clan used to end all their rap. Say it again, Trent. X-Clan used to end all their rap with that phrase. We can't use the last word, but go all the way up to the last word, Trent.
Vainglorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green with a key.
There we go. You can't use the last word. If you want to see, Brother Al Beaton put the last word in there. We're in the new genre now. We're in the new era now, so we can't say the last word no more.
Don't play no hippity hoppity in the chair.
Oh, look. People don't remember. Y'all remember that Kixie, Kixie's main tag was great hits and the oldies with no rap. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember Kixie? That was their tagline, was no rap. And now I turned on Kixie and they rapping all over the place.
You talking about 107.5?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they used to say what is straight soul and oldies.
107.
That's it. With no rap.
Ooh, rap.
Hey, man, you know what I used to listen to, man? I'm going to take y'all all the way back, man. Man, TD, I was riding with my pops, man. I used to listen to Delilah, bro, on 98.7. Y'all remember the Delilah show?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I used to listen to Delilah, man. Delilah used to put me to sleep, man. My dad used to have a girlfriend live in Mendy Hall. I hope he ain't watching. But we, hey, he'd be like, you got to take her back home. You know, it's a long ride from Madison to Mendy. I'd be like, son, you want to ride? I'm like, all right. I already knew I was going to go to the back seat. He's going to put that 98.7 on. I was gonna listen to Delilah with that little soft voice. But I'm gonna get some good sleep, dog. For real. Delilah still come on? Oh wow. Oh, Delilah, man.
And you know, look, we remember when Kixie and JMI was on Lynch Street.
Hey.
I used to could leave Jackson State, duck down Lynch Street, dip in, give me tickets for whatever show I wanted to get to, and walk on to the house. Like when Kixie and JMI was on Lynch Street, man, it was to me, that was black heaven. You had Jackson State with Kixie and JMI right there together. Like you couldn't have told me that there was any other better place for black people to be than Jackson, Mississippi.
And right across the street from Adams Corner.
Yep, right across the street from Adams Corner. That's it.
Hey, this hoodie is compliments of Reed Enterprise. Go to reedenterprise.com, the official Jackson State basketball hoodie, man. I love this thing. It's actually it's a new era brand, and it's a really good quality, man. It feels great. It's not too thick, so I'll be wearing it to the next basketball game. So when you see me, don't be worried about what I put on the screen, because I put it on just to watch the show, just to do the show. I don't care. I wear the same thing. Oh, it is what it is. I am going to have this on for the okay.
Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. I'm gonna go to bed, man. I gotta hit it later.
Be well, TD.
Yes, sir.
All right, TD.
Wow, baby. Later, Trent.
Have a good one, brother.
Yes, sir.
To Carolyn Denard, Sister Denard, I will say that I was a real what's the word? Artsy English major. So yeah, I would go to events. I would go to bigger. Trent may not remember this. Remember when Jesse Jackson spoke on campus?
Absolutely.
Okay.
He actually came a couple of times when
he was running for president.
Yeah.
Okay, so 88. The Omegas, basically that was their sponsored event.
Right.
I actually was working I was doing it wasn't work study. It was you had work study and you had work aid. I had work aid. My work aid was with the electricity plant.
Okay.
I ran wiring for the microphones and everything behind for the Jesse Jackson for the Jesse Jackson. And so because the Omegas was sponsoring it, I had to work with them to get all of the wiring and everything. And so I got to meet and deal with. And so that's how I knew about student organizations impacting what happens on campus. Like I didn't know up to that point that it was your student organization. I thought it was just administrators and teachers and those people who were responsible for the public events that we got. But I did not know what kind of vital role and power the student organizations had, and knowing that was the Omegas. And so who was the brother of the Omega who was the weatherman for years in Jackson?
That was my old roommate, Paul Williams.
So Paul Williams and I, like I said, I was doing the tape, I was doing all of that. And so I was essentially, Paul was doing the big stuff. And so all of the technical stuff, I was basically a primary technical person working with my work aid job with the electricity plant. And I always end on this. And I tell people, if you don't think that language matters, if you don't think that words matter, right? And I tell people, I'm a poet and a short story writer. Jesse Jackson's speech was so powerful that night. This is how powerful his speech was that night. And I'm not saying what should have, I'm saying that this is what language is important. Jesse Jackson had me so fired up. If he would have backed up a truck with machine guns and said, let's go take Jackson by force, I'm not going to lie to you that I wouldn't have thought about it based on the way that Jesse Jackson was speaking and talking about what needed to happen and how we as a people had to have that. And so I always talk about that. Then somebody talk about and Dansby, like Dansby Hall. I cried when they demolished Dansby Hall. Like I shed actual tears because Dansby Hall was where I had my Jackson State orientation. So Dansby Hall, I had orientation at Dansby Hall. I saw my first play in Dansby Hall. I got my first girl phone number in Dansby Hall. And I got my little first peck on the cheek in Dansby Hall. Dansby Hall made a man of me. So when they closed Dansby Hall, I cried real tears because it was essential. So yeah, so I think about that Jesse Jackson and that run for presidency and learning where student organizations and how they impact what happens on the campus.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Dansby Hall sat adjacent to the library, directly in front of the football dormitories.
Yep.
And it was the primary gathering place. You know, when we were freshmen, we ran for freshman class offices. Then everybody came, and they were pretty well attended. Came to Dansby Hall to hear those of us who were presenting ourselves for freshman class offices. That was at Dansby Hall. Like C. Lee said, orientation was in Dansby Hall. So it was the primary gathering place because at that time, the Rose McCoy Auditorium, which had been very functional earlier, the Rose McCoy Auditorium was not up and running at that time.
Right.
And so they kind of traded out and reopened Rose McCoy. And then they actually closed and demolished Dansby Hall.
Yep. Yeah, somebody put in at Joby's Burgers. Yeah, I can't leave out Joby's Burgers. Them was some of the best nasty burgers I ever had. Y'all talk about Joby's Burgers if you want to. Them was some of the best nasty burgers I ever had. So don't be hating on Joby's Burgers.
Hey, I was actually with Joby's son, Lemoyne, a little bit earlier this evening. So the Martin family is still up and kicking here in Jackson, and people don't realize the role that Joby Martin actually played in the development of the culture of Jackson, Mississippi. You know, all the way from playing football for Jackson College.
Yep.
Back in the 1930s and early 40s, I believe it was, all the way up to having, at the same time, being a businessman with a restaurant and a couple of other businesses that he operated. But he also had, on Saturdays when I was a kid, the Joby Martin Variety Show.
Yeah.
And
you know what? Actually, Coach actually said that he referenced me as being the like of type of Joby Martin. I was like, you don't know about that one, but
well, brother, you know what? Take pride in that.
No, I do, but it was just kind of like, wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because again, like you said, for like you say, that center of sports and culture platform, and all those things in which Joby Martin kind of had his hands and helped develop. Like I said, it was for those of us who were there during that time. Like it's difficult for me to think of Jackson State without thinking of Joby's. And it's going to be difficult for a new generation of people to think about Jackson State and not think about KC-1400 media.
Speaking of, I know we got this boom, initiative going right now. If you still want to donate to the pot, we collecting, for a donation to the boom tonight. Again, we appreciate Dr. Little for coming on and spending some time with us. But I also got another thing I'm working on. I told Brother C. Lee today that we will be introducing 6 new brand ambassadors from the track program under Coach Mark Thorne.
That's our other classmate. Well, you just highlighting all our classmates tonight. I'm so super excited about it that KC-1400 Media will be. You guys know we definitely rocking and rolling in the NIL arena, and we're trying to really build a real strong collective. You know what I mean? So we're gonna
We're going to partner with 6 track athletes, and won't mention who they are just yet. We'll roll them out. I actually meet with them on Friday, and we're going to be. You'll see some media coming from that. Myself and TD should be there, and we're looking to, talk with them about an opportunity to become brand ambassadors for the platform, man, for the brand. We're growing this brand, and we're gonna continue to do that. So appreciate everybody that's getting active with us, and continue. We need the support, man. We need it, and I'm telling you guys, I'm only saying it this way, but you guys got to see. Shout out to my brother Merch Pack. We putting together them edits for me. But when we drop it, it's gonna hit. It may not resonate with you tonight, but when you see it, you'll see it. So be prepared to watch us go on a full, like press run on social media. We'll share it on the channel, and we'll make a big deal out of it. So just another way to get in the game.
All right, gentlemen. I hate to tune out on y'all, but I
good.
Guess I'm gonna be in the morning.
Well, hey. I'm gonna be quick behind you, brother Trent. After you leave, I'm gonna make this statement. Then I'm gonna jump off, and it's always good to see my classmate. Got to hang out with you a couple of Saturdays ago at the game, and
that's right.
We up here representing all our classmates. So that 80s crew, and I just put in, like I said, I know Dr. Little said people are always coming with them requests. Well, in the 80s. About the third quarter, the tubas would stand up and play the ghetto. And if we can bring that back, the tuba standing up in the third quarter. And all you hear is whoa, 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 whoa. And then you hear 50,000 people go, party. All right, player.
Yes, sir.
All right, so go ahead. I'm gonna let you go there, and I'm gonna get out of here.
All right, I'm gone, brother.
Appreciate it, brother. I'll see you next time.
I'm gonna leave and leave with the people's. Ken, I said this to you, but I want to say it. I want everybody to understand. There's a difference when something is born out of need versus being born out of desire.
Absolutely.
And so a lot of what we saw today with the clickbait and the misinformation and other people, what separates KC-1400 from a lot of these other platforms is that KC-1400 was born out of need and love, whereas a lot of these other platforms are born out of desire, and particularly a desire to be noticed and known. And so that is why you guys move the way y'all move, because y'all move from a position of love for the university, because you were birthed from a moment when people really thought Jackson State was going to die. People really thought Jackson State was going to fall. And this was their time to kick Jackson State in the teeth. And KC-1400 and Tiger Talk, because we can't forget Decoy C and the Big Aristotle and all of y'all from both Tiger Talk and KC-1400. And so for people to understand, well, why is it that KC-1400 media seems to move differently than these other platforms? Always remember, people, when you do something from desire, it's always a bit different than doing something from need and love. And so before you go get information from these platforms that are based on desire, try getting your information from this platform that's based on need and love. With that, thank y'all so much. I'm out. I'm enjoying being the king of my castle, Ken, because my wife is out of town. So I'm running things. I want everybody to know, I want all the women in the chat to know that Brother C. Lee is running his house. This is my house. Lillian, I'm running this house. I'm the man, and I'm going to be the man until about 10 o'clock tomorrow night before she come home. So I'm going to go home and walk around my house and be the man, the king of my castle. Good night, everybody.
Appreciate you, brother. Man, yes, indeed, man. Appreciate everybody, man. We gonna get ready to shut this thing down. Let me see if I got anything else out there we wanted to touch on. Again, man, hey, you guys go tap into the interviews right now on the channel. Interview Up with DJ Great interview. Got a great opportunity to sit down with him. Another interview with John Huggins, Deontay Graham, as well as Isaac Peppers. The interviews are up both on this platform as well as the Go JSU Tigers platform. I do plan on trying to get out there and support some high school basketball when I get in town, but definitely looking forward to meeting with the track squad, man. So I'm excited about that, y'all. I really am, man. I'm excited about that. Listen, if you're just now tuning in to the channel, you missed a great show. Go ahead and watch the whole thing from the beginning. We had Dr. Little on. Again, we appreciate Dr. Little for popping up, man, and making some time for us to come on and sit down and talk to us. That was a great interview. Probably didn't get all your questions, but I think we got enough of them for you guys to understand what we can do. So, like I said, we pledging 2,500,000, not 2,500,000, man. Well, that'd be great, but 2,500 to the boom, and be a Tiger sponsor. So, if you'd like to donate to that cause, feel free. Hit that Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. Every dollar that's collected through this is going to go, or you can just click the link and donate directly. But I know some like to donate and donate through the platform, and we'll get that out there to it. So yeah, man, that's all I pretty much got tonight. Friday night show. Before we even get out of here, I do want to send a huge shout out to. I want to send a shout out to our channel sponsors. Huge shout out to our channel sponsor, Cannon Toyota Vicksburg. Give a call to Greg Lindsay, 601-218-5809, or Billy Crozier at 601-835-6100. Looking at possibly getting an actual JSU scheduled signing event scheduled over in Vicksburg. We'll get a couple of our athletes over there to sit down and sign some schedules and try to make it a big event, and we'll cover that and bring that to you guys whenever that does take place. So huge shout out to Cannon Toyota Vicksburg. Give them a call if you need in the market for a vehicle, whether it's a Toyota, whether it's a Honda certified pre-owned used vehicle. Give them a shout. And last but not least, we want to send a huge shout out to Auto Masters, our channel sponsor. Shout out to Terrence and Tim. Go to www.automasters06.com. Contact number 601-927-7794. Tell them Ken sent you from KC-1400 Media, man. We've already sold one vehicle. Go check out the latest inventory. We got some nice vehicles, nice used vehicles. And look, if you're in the market for a vehicle and they don't have what you're looking for, they can get it. They can find it. They can help you look for that. So give them a shout, man. These are JSU Tigers. These are alums, and we're excited to partner with them. And that's something that we're definitely excited about. Like I said, last but not least, this weekend, KC-1400 Media is excited to partner with, be a sponsor of the City with Soul, Visit Jackson, hosting the Jackson Food and Wine Festival. I'm actually looking forward to this. Haven't been to one, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. And so I'll be in the city, and we get a chance to make this event, rub a few elbows, partner, network, do all that good stuff, man. All the stuff that we love to do. So we'll be back on Friday. Can't say what time it'll be. More than likely it'll be 9 p.m. But I do plan on going to catch some high school basketball. So we'll be on probably for a possible short show. Stay tuned. We got another guest coming up on Wednesday. Won't say who it is until that. We'll let you know probably around Friday or Monday or something. We'll let you know. So anyway, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like, share, subscribe, become a channel member. Join the channel. We can definitely appreciate the support. As always, it's DI Love. Go Tigers, baby. We appreciate you. Good night.